There was no reply. There was no reply. Yemo breathed easy. Just what power level was this guy when he lived? He had been dead for all these years, but the remnant he had could force a golden, immortal middle stage back so many times. This person was definitely countless times stronger than the Freedom King. Yemo's spirit sense fell on that staff. He knew it was definitely a top-grade magic artifact. He was an immortal forgery master, but still couldn't tell what level it was. Although Yemo knew the golden skeleton was a priceless treasure, he had no interest in this body. He would take the staff and go. This wasn't a place to stay for long. Thinking about this, Yemo tried to take the staff with his spirit sense. "You're not the fated one," another extremely powerful force shook him further away. Those words were imprinted in his brain. Qian Bei's essence spirit is still alive. Yemo asked with uncertainty. If this person even had just a sliver of essence spirit left, he wouldn't be able to get up from here. Only a status immortal can be fated. Come back after you become a status immortal. That message appeared in his brain. Yemo was certain that the skeleton had sliver of essence spirit left and quickly bowed. Wan Bei was impulsive and broke into Qian Bei's solitary cultivation grounds. Wan Bei will leave now and promise not to spill this place out. If in the future you can go to Fan Du Heaven's 9-fan immortal pond and kill Eugene Xiang for me, I will immediately give you something you really need, and another powerful heritage. A message appeared in his mind again. Yemo sneered. Fan Du Heaven was one of the 11 grand heaven domains. Going there to kill someone was suicide. Plus, he already had enough good things. The staff was good, but dying for it was not worth it. Plus, this essence spirit didn't even force him to make an oath. Things clearly weren't ordinary. Seeing there was no resistance, Yemo accelerated and quickly left from this broken stealth formation. As soon as he came out, he received another message. "Sai, you don't even care about the Chaos Blue Reed." Yemo was shook. As an immortal pill great master, he knew what it was better than anyone. It was the best body refinement nirvana immortal spirit herb. Its value wasn't something ordinary level 9 immortal spirit herbs could compare with. Yet this person knew he needed it the most now. If it was some other immortal who was God state peak stage, he definitely would turn back, but Yemo was used to seeing things much better than the Chaos Blue Reed. The Chaos Blue Reed was precious, but since there was life-threatening danger, he didn't want to stay here. This essence spirit could send messages in his brain so easily. Even though he wasn't afraid of possession, he didn't want to stay here. Without hesitation, he turned his head back, fleeing with water mobility. The reason he turned back was to confuse the skeleton. Regardless whether skeleton tried to keep him or not, Yemo would leave first out of safety. If that skeleton indeed wanted to attack him, trying to get him to go back, perhaps that action might buy a second for him. Indeed, as soon as Yemo used mobility, a powerful spirit sense charged into his octagonal cauldron. Even though Yemo had a spirit sense cultivation method, he felt extremely weak and immediately spat blood. This skeleton indeed wanted to harm him, but that spirit sense could only attack Yemo once and couldn't keep hunting him anymore. Yemo charged to the side quickly and fell to the ground, panting for breath. That was too close. Luckily, he was golden, immortal middle stage and was vigilant and wasn't lured by the Chaos Blue Reed. Otherwise, he wouldn't just be dead. He was certain that the skeleton used a spirit sense cultivation method, one that was more powerful than his. But Yemo didn't understand why the skeleton didn't attack when he first entered the stealth formation, and instead attacked after he left. Yemo sat down after a while and found in shock that his spirit sense was extremely weak and couldn't even recover. Now he realized why the skeleton didn't attack when he first went in. The skeleton could only use it once, and he saved it for possession. Seeing that he was going, he got worried. More than half of his power was related to spirit sense. What would he do if his sea of consciousness was damaged just due to one attack? This person only had a sliver of essence spirit left, and there was such a distance between them, and in a rush, yet he could still heavily injure his spirit sense. Just how powerful was this person? This cultivator's spirit sense was so powerful, meaning that he had a powerful spirit sense cultivation method. If he was closer, even a great unity immortal cultivator would be killed. Yi Mo panted. His body was still very weak, and his spirit sense was greatly damaged. Now, he couldn't even gather up his immortal essence. He slowly got up. Despite knowing that skeleton couldn't come to the surface, Yi Mo didn't want to stay here anymore. If he knew there was such a terrifying skeleton below, he wouldn't dare to cultivate here for half a year. Luckily, he had many corner soul weeds. He couldn't take them out now, but if he recovered a little spirit sense, he could. He needed to find a place to recover his spirit sense now. He couldn't use his spirit sense, so he couldn't connect to the Golden Page world and go in. Yi Mo was very careful. He knew that there was a huge blue rock on the way he came, and there was only 5 minutes distance to it. As long as he got near there, he would be able to hide inside, recover some of his sea of consciousness, and go into the Golden Page world and use corner soul weeds. Yi Mo only walked out for less than 15 minutes when a blue figure rapidly came over. There was someone chasing behind the blue figure. The blue figure seemed heavily injured. Moments later, that figure was in front of Yi Mo. When he saw who that cultivator was, Yi Mo almost cursed. It was that cold-faced Shinbingyu. Her hair was messy and blood was all over her body. When he saw her, she also saw him. There was surprise and joy in her eyes, and she quickly said, "Martial brother, ye please help?" Yi Mo carefully moved to the side, meaning, "Keep running, this has nothing to do with me." But Shinbingyu didn't notice at all. She went to Yi Mo's side and stopped. She released her black sword and hacked over at the chasing abstruse immortal with a sword missed. This was an abstruse immortal middle stage. Shinbingyu was no match for him, even if she wasn't injured, but now she was heavily injured. "I'll hold this person here. Quickly attack." Shinbingyu thought Yi Mo would immediately attack, as Yi Mo gave her the impression that he knew when to take the best opportunity. She believed that Yi Mo would help no matter what. This person was an abstruse immortal middle stage, and if Yi Mo killed him, his storage ring would be a fortune. Plus, she knew Yi Mo. But what shook her was that Yi Mo didn't even move and yelled instead, "Help my ass! What direction can't you run to? Why do you have to run over here? You only haven't seen me for half a year. Do you miss me this much? You idiot!" Yi Mo could not be furious. This was his weakest moment. He was meat on the chopping block, but Shinbingyu brought over such a powerful enemy. And since Shinbingyu was no match for him, after she was killed, he would be next. But now he couldn't even use his final means and go into the Golden Page world. How could he not despair? Yi Mo could not be furious. This was his weakest moment. He was meat on the chopping block, but Shinbingyu brought over such a powerful enemy. And since Shinbingyu was no match for him, after she was killed, he would be next. But now he couldn't even use his final means and go into the Golden Page world. How could he not despair? Shinbingyu frowned seeing that Yi Mo didn't attack, but when Yi Mo cursed, she felt something wasn't right. At this moment, her sword mist had been broken, and before she could take her sword back, countless dark rays shot over. A huge black dragon magic artifact roared over. Shinbingyu knew that if she was caught by that, she would be dead for sure. She didn't have the time to think and released a rainbow cloud stamp. It blocked the area in front of her. She knew it wasn't enough to stop it, but she couldn't care that much anymore. Thud, thud, the black rays shot on the rainbow stamp, but even so it couldn't block the rest. With a splurge, a dark ray pierced her right rib, and another dark ray shot into Yi Mo's chest. His body refinement was powerful, but he hadn't gone through nirvana yet. Shinbingyu immediately realized why Yi Mo called her an idiot. He was heavily injured too, much more serious than her. The cultivator she brought over was going to kill Yi Mo. Realizing this, Zhen Bingyu spat out essence blood and released a rune. The sky rattled heavily, and the rune brought about a space windstorm as though about to tear the person caught in it to countless pieces. The abstruse immortal middle stage knew the terrifying power of this rune and immediately released a defense magic artifact while retreating. He didn't believe she would be able to get away. So what if she had a rune? Did she have more? Zhen Bingyu took out another rune, however, and spat another mouthful of blood, of essence blood. Instant transmission rune. Yi Mo cursed after she left with that rune. He would still have to die. Having a great eternity immortal master was good indeed. She even had a rune that only status immortals could make, but he clearly thought too lowly of Zhen Bingyu. When she activated the rune, Yi Mo felt a faint aroma come over, and a soft body took him. The next moment, there was a feeling of dizziness. Yi Mo relaxed a little. He knew his life was saved. In an extremely ordinary cave, Zhen Bingyu took Yi Mo inside with a pale face before setting up a few simple, low-level stealth restrictions before sitting down and panting. At this moment, she had used up almost all of her spirit sense and immortal essence. She was very weak due to repeated burning of essence blood. It was my bad before. Sorry. When I came, I didn't know you were injured, Zhen Bingyu said. Yi Mo felt a little embarrassed. Not long ago, he called her an idiot, but now she saved him again. Yi Mo coughed and waved his hand. Never mind, you saved me. How did you offend such a powerful guy? Even if I wasn't injured, I would most likely lose fighting this guy. As he spoke, Yi Mo pulled the dark ray out from his chest while thinking whether he should ask for some pills from her. What shook him was that Zhen Bingyu changed her clothes in front of him. That blue dress was quickly taken off. She seemed to be about to take off her inner clothes. Of course, Yi Mo wasn't going to look, but Zhen Bingyu didn't seem to intend to avoid him at all. After the blue dress was gone, there was an extremely thin inner armor made with heaven meridian worm silk, but that shockingly curvaceous body and silky white skin was revealed. The sturdy 2 hills in front of her chest were half revealed too. If this woman wasn't always cold and never flirted, Yi Mo would almost think she was trying to seduce him. Wait, Yi Mo stopped her. Seeing her turn back, Yi Mo coughed. Martial Sister Bingyu, you don't avoid people when you change clothes? Hearing this, Zhen Bingyu frowned and said coldly, it's just a body, nothing worth avoiding. If you almost succumb to this corporal lust, you will forever be like this. Your body refinement cultivation method is indeed powerful, but your cultivation level is only… Zhen Bingyu stared at Yi Mo in shock. You reached golden immortal middle stage in half a year. How is that possible? Then, as though thinking of something, she nodded. The cultivation method heritage you got is very substantial if you focus on the pursuit of Tao. Then she shook her head, as though knowing that Yi Mo wouldn't be able to do that. Mu Wushuang was that powerful, but he was still ganged up and killed. If he focused on his Tao, would this happen? She didn't try to persuade Yi Mo anymore, and continued to take off her inner clothes. She used a cleansing spell before taking out a new set and changed into it in front of Yi Mo. I know your heritage is very powerful, but what I need to tell you is that you must not spill it or you will be dead for sure. She finally realized why this woman knew he came out with Feng Chunma, but still acted so calm. To her, it was just corporal lust. It wasn't that she didn't understand the things between men and women, but she didn't care. She knew how to protect herself. Facing a goddess with such a beautiful face and body, Yi Mo suddenly felt at a loss. So, this means you would be willing if someone wants to sleep with you? Yi Mo suddenly really wanted to know if she would agree. Zhen Bingyu had finished changing her clothes and sneered. Keep dreaming. I'm not someone as innocent as Feng Chunma. I would never give my virginity essence chi to someone. Zhen Bingyu looked at Yi Mo in contempt. Do you do this often in front of other people? Do you do this out in the open? Yemo asked, "Would you change your clothes on the streets when you're heavily injured?" "Idiot, I'm changing here because you're more injured than me, and you can't do anything to me." Zhen Bingyu cursed back. Yi Mo was completely speechless. This female cultivator seemed extremely cunning and was much more persistent in cultivation than most cultivators. Was she really an emotionless goddess? Yi Mo felt a little strange. Perhaps she thought her perception was correct. True, the body was just flesh and bones, but many cultivators came from being immortal and couldn't change their perspective. But Yi Mo immediately shook his head. He felt if he really reached Zhen Bingyu's state, it would be sad. He would rather die of old age than be like Zhen Bingyu. Nothing else mattered except for reaching the top of Tao. "Can you lend me some pills?" Yi Mo asked. Zhen Bingyu nodded and gave a jade bottle to Yi Mo. "When you recover, we can do a deal." Yi Mo ate a few pills and finally recovered some spirit sense. Then he took out his pills without hesitation and ate them in big handfuls. His pills were much better than hers, all top grade or extreme grade. The power of the three-birth chant was shown. Yi Mo felt his immortal essence and sea of consciousness recover rapidly. But Yi Mo felt there was a shadow in his sea of consciousness that gave him an extreme sense of danger. Then Yi Mo took out a few formation flags and looked at Zhen Bingyu. "I need to change clothes too, but my state isn't as high as yours. I need to set up a stealth formation." Zhen Bingyu's face was cold, and she closed her eyes to cultivate. Yi Mo didn't care. Yi Mo threw down tens of formation flags, and when his figure disappeared, Zhen Bingyu suddenly got up and murmured, "He's a level 2 immortal formation master? How is there someone this insane?" After Yi Mo went in the stealth formation, he immediately took out a jade white dark weed and started repairing his spirit sense and sea of consciousness. After Yi Mo went in the stealth formation, he immediately took out a jade white dark weed and started repairing his spirit sense and sea of consciousness. Only now did he feel the true power of the dark weed. His sea of consciousness was being repaired rapidly. It was many times better than pills. Yi Mo was shaken. He didn't feel the corner soul weed was anything special when his sea of consciousness was fine. But now that it was injured, he realized why it was so precious. If he concocted it into the dual spirit pill, wouldn't the effect be even better? Dual spirit pills were level 6 immortal pill. Yi Mo had decided to concoct them as soon as he reached level 6 immortal pill great master. After more than half of his sea of consciousness was repaired, a black that appeared in his sea of consciousness. Yi Mo was shaken. He didn't even notice a skeleton who was about to die plan a mark in his sea of consciousness. If he didn't have corner soul weeds and other pills, it would be countless years before he could repair his sea of consciousness. After that, who knew what would happen? Perhaps the spirit sense mark would have fused with his spirit sense. Would that skeleton know everything he thought by then? If that was really the case, then if that skeleton revived or possessed someone else, he would be caught anywhere. Thinking about this, Yi Mo was covered in cold sweat. He quickly forced out that dark shadow and sealed it with layers of restrictions before sealing it in a jade box. Then he carefully sealed the jade box in the golden page world. Yi Mo didn't destroy it. He never liked to take such things passively. He would pay this skeleton back in the future. After this, Yi Mo quickly stripped himself naked and burned everything with mist lotus heart fire before searching all over his body with it. Only when he was certain there were no more marks left did he feel assured. At the same time, he felt an increasingly desperate need for power. Just when Yi Mo was about to put on his clothes, Zhen Bingyu suddenly charged in. Yi Mo was dazed, but then quickly put on his clothes and stared coldly at Zhen Bingyu. "I know your Tao heart is different than mine, but my body isn't just flesh and bones. I've set up a stealth formation. Don't you think you should ask before you come in?" Zhen Bingyu said expressionlessly, "When you reach the great Tao, you will realize that what I said is true." Body is just flesh and bones. That's it. Plus, I came in for a reason. That abstruse immortal middle stage just passed here not far away. How do you know? Yemo asked. His body hadn't fully recovered yet. If that guy caught up, it would be very dangerous. I didn't get to take back my black sword and rainbow stamp. He is using them to sense my location. He didn't notice before, but if he passes here again, he will, Zhen Bingyu said calmly. Why does he have to kill you? Yemo asked with a frown. I will tell you when you recover. This also concerns our future cooperation. Zhen Bingyu nodded. Yemo was helpless and could only continue his recovery. Half an hour later, his wounds had pretty much recovered. Now he breathed easy. Even if that abstruse, immortal middle stage came now, he wasn't scared. He then said to Zhen Bingyu, I'm going to set up a formation now. When I'm finished, make that trash formation you set at the cave. At least it will allow him to be able to sense you. You want to draw that abstruse immortal over and trap him with a formation? Zhen Bingyu immediately knew what Yemo meant, and didn't feel unhappy at Yemo for calling her formation trash. Yemo laughed. That's right, I didn't do anything. And this bastard hit me. I don't like it, I'm going to get him back. Hearing this, Zhen Bingyu sighed. It seems I was correct. My master overestimated you. You're not mature indeed. You're very impetuous. You're still not over something this small. No matter how powerful your heritage is, you won't be able to achieve the great Tao. Small thing? Yemo looked speechlessly at this woman. He was almost killed, and this was small? There was nothing in common between them. Yemo couldn't be bothered talking to her, and started setting up formation flags. She clearly knew something about formations, and was surprised looking at the way Yemo set them up. This was because she couldn't see them with her spirit sense after Yemo set them up. Half an hour later, Yemo finished a stealth attack formation. Now, he just needed to wait for the abstruse immortal to come over and die. Which cultivation realm did you ascend from? There was still no sign of that abstruse immortal, so he asked Zhen Bingyu this question. I'm not an immortal ascension cultivator. I was with my master at the extreme sword sect ever since I was young. Zhen Bingyu shook her head and said. Yemo was a little confused. Even if she was an immortal realm cultivator, there were no female cultivators who had the same perceptions as her. You want to ask why I don't care about the things between men and women, right? Zhen Bingyu was very smart. Seeing Yemo not talk, she sneered. If you want to say I'm shameless, be straightforward. You don't understand my Tao heart. It's pointless to tell you. Of course, if you can show me your formation jade slip so that I can easily set up a stealth formation, I would do it too. Yemo sneered and couldn't be bothered talking to her. Her wits weren't small either, and she wanted to use this opportunity to get his formation jade slip. Who did she think she was? He gave her the body refinement jade slip because she saved him before. Although she saved him just now, she brought the danger here too. Seeing Yemo ignore her, Zhen Bingyu didn't care. She knew that Yemo wouldn't agree anyways, but the body refinement cultivation method Yemo gave her was too powerful. If Yemo's formation jade slip was this powerful, then she would soon become an immortal formation master too. She didn't really intend to use Yemo. The two didn't talk anymore. The silence didn't last for a few minutes before a spirit sense scanned into the cave, and a dashing light came. It was that abstruse, immortal middle stage indeed. Zhen Bingyu changed the formation a little, and that person sensed the two here. Sensing this abstruse immortal's ferocious chi, Yemo knew that if he didn't use his formation, he wouldn't be a match for this guy if he was still golden immortal primary stage. But now, he was golden immortal middle stage and had this formation. He believed he would be able to easily kill this abstruse immortal middle stage. The abstruse immortal came to the cave but didn't come in immediately. He threw out some formation flags and sealed the space nearby, fearing that Zhen Bingyu would use an instant transmission rune again. He looked at the cave for a while. That golden immortal primary stage was nothing but this woman was quite powerful. He had to ensure there was no danger here. But now Shen Bingyu was looking at Yi Mo in shock. He controlled his power to be Golden Immortal Primary Stage, and she couldn't tell at all. That meant if Yi Mo was an abstruse immortal and kept his power at Golden Immortal Primary Stage, she still wouldn't be able to tell. The abstruse immortal checked around, and didn't find anything before smirking and coming in. His black dragon magic artifact was spinning above his head. The dragon above his head roared. The dragon above his head roared. This wasn't Yi Mo's first time seeing such a magic artifact. It was made with a beast's soul. Such magic artifacts had an artifact spirit that couldn't grow, but it was much stronger than ordinary magic artifacts without an artifact spirit. The sound made by this black dragon was heavy and powerful. Attack. The abstruse immortal cultivator didn't look at Yi Mo anymore, and just stared at Shen Bingyu before roaring. The black dragon morphed into black lightning and shot out. It formed a 3-meter-long grinder above Shen Bingyu. If it wasn't that this cave was too small, it definitely would be bigger. At the same time, there was a buzzing sound in the abstruse immortal's body. Black rays shot from his body. Yi Mo sneered. He was injured by this before. Before that dark ray could shoot up, he threw out his formation flag. The instant the formation closed, the abstruse immortal cultivator felt it. He wasn't good at formations, but he could tell he was trapped. He finally realized why Shen Bingyu took this small golden immortal primary stage. When she ran, he was an immortal formation master. But he didn't care even though he was trapped. He pushed with his dark rays, but soon he noticed something was wrong. They disappeared in the small cave hole. That huge black dragon magic artifact was also stopped by the formation and didn't do any damage to the abstruse immortal female cultivator. Not only that, the black dragon wouldn't be able to help him for a while. The abstruse immortal immediately realized that Yi Mo was an immortal formation master who knew very well how to use formations to fight. He had to kill this golden immortal insect first, otherwise he wouldn't be able to do anything while trapped here. Just when he thought of this, that black dragon rattled and smashed over at Yi Mo's formation. But as soon as it did, the abstruse immortal immediately noticed a powerful killing force coming his way. He didn't even notice this before. He was very familiar with this killing force. He had fought with Shen Bingyu more than once. It was another magic artifact that she could control. Each time this woman attacked, he could feel it beforehand, but now he only sensed it when it was before him. This must be due to this formation. He quickly took back his black dragon to block Shen Bingyu's blue flute. At this moment, this abstruse immortal didn't care about Shen Bingyu at all. When the black dragon blocked Shen Bingyu, he charged over at Yi Mo like crazy and smashed a rune over. He felt very embarrassed to use a rune against a golden immortal cultivator, but he knew clearly that if he didn't kill this immortal formation master, it would be hard for him to even stay alive, much less win. This small golden immortal primary stage posed a much greater threat to him than this abstruse immortal primary stage female cultivator. Rumble the rune exploded on Yi Mo's formation, rattling the space nearby. The space of the Chaos Star Realm didn't seem as stable as outside. The abstruse immortal cultivator realized that his rune only rattled Yi Mo's formation a little and did nothing. The golden immortal primary stage wasn't in the blast radius at all. Before he could release his magic artifact, another faint light swept over. It wasn't that woman. It should be the golden immortal. The abstruse immortal released a low-grade immortal artifact and grabbed at the direction the faint light came from. Yi Mo sneered. A mere abstruse immortal middle stage who was in his formation dared to try and grab him with his hands. He threw out a few more formation flags, and Su struck the abstruse immortal cultivator's shield. Crack. The abstruse immortal didn't expect Yi Mo's immortal essence was this strong. His shield was hacked away without him using it, at full power. A small crack even ran down the middle. "You're not golden immortal primary stage." As soon as he said this, a blood light flashed, and Zissou hacked into his chest. The abstruse immortal was shook. He was heavily injured now, and wanted to run without hesitation. From that clash, he could feel that Yi Mo's immortal essence was even a little stronger than abstruse immortal primary stage. He was trapped in a formation and faced two abstruse immortals. This was asking to die. As soon as the abstruse immortal turned, countless invisible sword rays shot out of the formation and surrounded him. The abstruse immortal activated the huge black dragon like crazy, wanting to use it to charge out of the cultivation home. However, he wouldn't be able to get out of Yi Mo's trap formation quickly. He knew he shouldn't have come inside. If he wasn't in the formation, he wouldn't fear this immortal formation master. There was a terrifying pressure coming from the black dragon. Yi Mo knew this guy was about to detonate his magic artifact to get out. A magic artifact with an artifact spirit had even more terrifying detonations. How could Yi Mo let him detonate his magic artifact? He circulated his immortal essence and spirit sense like crazy as Zissou burst out. The purple went from faint to dense in less than half a second and hacked down from the abstruse immortal's head. The abstruse immortal didn't even have time to release his explosion rune and was cut in half by Zissou. Seeing Yi Mo kill this abstruse immortal middle stage in such a short time with the formation, there was a sliver of shock in Zhen Bingyu's eyes. She knew Yi Mo would win, but didn't expect the win to be this clean. After this abstruse immortal died, his essence spirit seemed to have been devoured by a black shadow. She didn't even see what it was. From this, it was clear that Yi Mo still had trump cards he didn't use. Zhen Bingyu went up to that cultivator and took her black sword. Yi Mo took the formation flags and easily broke the restrictions on the storage ring. However, Yi Mo was greatly disappointed. There were only about 500,000 immortal crystals. An abstruse immortal was this poor? But soon, Yi Mo realized what happened. There were a few bottles of level 3 immortal pills and quite some level 4 immortal spirit herbs and materials. Seeing Zhen Bingyu look at him, he quickly found a rainbow stamp and threw it back to her. Seeing her take it, Yi Mo was about to leave here. "Wait, I said there was something we can collaborate on. Are you willing?" Zhen Bingyu suddenly stopped Yi Mo. "What is it?" Yi Mo asked plainly. Zhen Bingyu said, "I know a place with chaos blue reeds. If you're willing." Yi Mo suddenly looked coldly at her. That's exactly what the skeleton that almost killed him said. What did she mean by saying this now? Yi Mo was ready to release Zissou at any time. If this woman dared to let him go down that pond, he would kill her without hesitation. Feeling Yi Mo's killing intent, Zhen Bingyu took 2 steps back and frowned. She didn't understand why Yi Mo would have killing intent towards her after he said this. So she watched. If Yi Mo dared to attack, she would protect herself. She was thinking that Yi Mo probably wanted to take it all for himself. Thus, Zhen Bingyu didn't want to tell Yi Mo anymore. She couldn't get it herself, but she hadn't even said the location, and Yi Mo wanted it all for himself. This made her very uncomfortable. "Never mind, I don't want to collaborate with you," Zhen Bingyu said, and was about to leave here. Yi Mo was confused instead. Did he guess wrong? If he did, then this was a missed opportunity. "Where is it?" Yi Mo couldn't resist asking. "I thought only I knew about it, but after I went there I realized that wasn't the case. That abstruse, immortal middle stage who tried to kill me was scared of news spreading, so he came to kill me. He had 2 other abstruse, immortal primary stage friends who stayed there," Zhen Bingyu answered. "I thought only I knew about it, but after I went there I realized that wasn't the case. That abstruse, immortal middle stage who tried to kill me was scared of news spreading, so he came to kill me. He had 2 other abstruse, immortal primary stage friends who stayed there," Zhen Bingyu answered. Hearing this, he immediately asked, "How do you want to cooperate?" Before that I have two conditions, Jean Bingyu said upon seeing that Yi Mo's wariness towards her reduced. Yi Mo said plainly, first, the chaos blue reed you mentioned might not exist. Even if it does, we might not get it. Second, you don't need to tell me your conditions. I won't agree to it before seeing the chaos blue reed. Jean Bingyu realized it was pointless to mention the cultivation method again, so she fell into silence. After a while she could only say, then how would we divide things if we get the chaos blue reed? He knew the chances were slim, but the chaos blue reed was too much of an enticement to Yi Mo. If he found one, he would definitely not want to give it up. He fell silent for a while and said, if there's more than one, we can share them evenly, but if there's only one, then there's none for me, right? Jean Bingyu sneered, but she was angry. This guy hadn't even got the chaos blue reed, and already acted like this. If he got it, then wouldn't he kill her? Yi Mo was lost for words. If there was only one, he really wouldn't know how to split it. I'm already God state peak stage. I'm about to go through nirvana. I need it more desperately than you. So if you help me with this, I will compensate you elsewhere, Yi Mo said helplessly. Jean Bingyu knew Yi Mo's greed and sighed. If she didn't work with him, there was no way she would get the chaos blue reed, but she felt unsatisfied collaborating with him. I'm also king state middle stage. Plus, everyone wants something like the chaos blue reed. You don't need an entire one for body refinement. If there's only one, give half to me, Jean Bingyu said without hesitation. Yi Mo wasn't surprised she reached king state in half a year. She was powerful and the body refinement places here were really good too. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't talk, she added, if there's only one, I want the top part of the chaos blue reed. I can give the bottom half to you. For something like the chaos blue reed, the lower the part, the more valuable. Yi Mo nodded. Okay, we'll do that. Now where is the chaos blue reed? It's in the extreme star swamp, 1,000 kilometers west, Jean Bingyu said. Yi Mo released Blue Moon and said to Jean Bingyu, get on, let's hurry. Yi Mo knew this place too. This was the perfect place for him. One couldn't use spirit sense nor immortal essence here. A body refinement cultivator like him had a natural advantage. Jean Bingyu got on Blue Moon without hesitation. Yi Mo controlled Blue Moon while expanding his spirit sense domain out. Blue Moon darted across the sky in a blue figure. It was many times faster than running on the ground. Jean Bingyu's face was still very cold, but she envied Yi Mo quite a lot. Even though she came from a great eternity immortal sect, she was like a hillbilly compared to Yi Mo. Other than her more adamant Tao heart, her cultivation method and capabilities were all lower. Just when Jean Bingyu was thinking, Yi Mo suddenly hacked out with Zisu. A shriek sounded and blood fell. Yi Mo grabbed a beast core and 2 feathers. Jean Bingyu saw a shadowless vulture quickly disappear. Jean Bingyu was shook looking at this. The other parts of the shadowless vulture were worth some immortal crystals. This guy was too wasteful. For the first time, Jean Bingyu became curious about Yi Mo. She would never be interested in any cultivators, but she asked this time, are you a cultivator from the cultivation realm? Yes, Yi Mo nodded. Then someone like you would have quite some Tao partners in the cultivation realm. Jean Bingyu asked. She really felt it was a pity that someone this talented couldn't focus on cultivation. Yi Mo nodded awkwardly, thinking this woman was quite accurate. Jean Bingyu knew it was like this and hesitated before saying, your fortune must be astounding. My master said before that Nianmei didn't deserve you. Now I believe it. With your current situation, if you focus completely on cultivation, I believe you can reach the top of Tao. Yi Mo waved his hand. He didn't want her to remind him. Seeing Yi Mo lost the interest to talk, Jean Bingyu said, I'm just reminding you whether you listen or not, it's up to you. I just feel pity for that unparalleled heritage of yours. Yi Mo looked at her plainly and said, then I'll remind you too. If you don't undress yourself in front of a man, you might reach the top of Tao. Listen or not up to you. I just feel pity for such an extremely beautiful woman. Zhen Bingyu smiled and said no more. Although she didn't care about her body, this was the only time she undressed herself in front of a male cultivator. This was because she had never teamed up with someone before. Even though she came with Hai Chuanwu, she still chose to trial alone. She was heavily injured this time, and Yi Mo was in a worse state. There were people hunting then. She wouldn't care about exposing her body. Yi Mo was dazed. Ever since he met this woman, this was the first time he saw her smile. Her smile was many times prettier than her cold face. Yi Mo sighed, thinking that such extremely beautiful woman took her clothes off casually in front of other people, and how her body had been seen by countless people. There was a sense of disgust in Yi Mo's heart. You are disgusted by me. Zhen Bingyu scanned and saw the disgust in Yi Mo's heart. Ha ha, we're here. Yi Mo still needed to collaborate with her. Of course, he couldn't admit it. Looking down, the extreme star swamp was shrouded in what seemed like mist or chaos chi. There were many immortals here, from golden immortal to abstruse immortal. There were constantly more cultivators coming over. In half a day, there would be more than 2,000 here. This is your private news. Yi Mo looked at Zhen Bingyu in confusion. A sliver of awkwardness appeared on Zhen Bingyu's face. When I left, there was not a single person here. Now that so many came, the chaos blue reed must have been exposed. Yi Mo got off from Blue Moon, and many immortals saw it. They all turned around. There were people flying in here, but it was usually abstruse, immortal cultivators with a top-grade defense magic artifact. When they saw it was only a golden immortal primary stage landing, they were shocked. Golden immortal primary stages could fly in here, but then they saw Zhen Bingyu behind him, who was an abstruse immortal. Yi Mo didn't like Zhen Bingyu seeing that he was golden immortal middle stage, so he hid his power back to golden immortal primary stage, as many of the cultivators here knew. He was golden immortal primary stage. I know that golden immortal cultivator. No one wanted to team up with him, but in the end, he got to the asteroid door himself, a golden immortal primary stage past the heaven domain void. Are you sure? It's true. I saw it too. He not only crossed it, but also killed more than 10,000 level 2 and level 3 3-feet wolves. Everyone discussed and soon determined Yi Mo to be a master who could fight beyond his level. Thus, no cultivators dared to scan Yi Mo with spirit sense. Everyone discussed and soon determined Yi Mo to be a master who could fight beyond his level. Thus, no cultivators dared to scan Yi Mo with spirit sense. Martial Sister Bingyu, a joyful voice sounded. Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu looked at Hai Wuchuan at the same time. Seeing Yi Mo next to Zhen Bingyu, Hai Wuchuan's eyes flashed with discomfort. He didn't expect she rejected to go with him, and instead went with Yi Mo. But that sliver of discomfort quickly disappeared, and he sped up to them. Martial Sister Bingyu, did you hear there was chaos blue reed here? Hai Wuchuan asked immediately. Zhen Bingyu nodded. Yes, how did you know? I heard that a golden immortal cultivator got his friend's messenger flying sword, and immediately knew his friend was killed due to this. In his fury, he spread this everywhere. I think half of the cultivators here know now. Many more are still coming over, Hai Wuchuan said. Martial Sister Bingyu, didn't you say you were going to trial alone? Why are you with Pill Master Yi? Hai Wuchuan felt that Zhen Bingyu wouldn't be interested in Yi Mo, and she said to him that she didn't want a doubt partner, but these few times he saw her, she was with Yi Mo. Zhen Bingyu said, I happened to see Martial Brother Yi here, so we came together. Pill Master Yi, I didn't expect you could cross the heaven domain void alone. I wanted to greet you at the time, but you left too quickly. Hai Wuchuan realized that Zhen Bingyu changed from calling Yi Mo Pill Master Yi to Martial Brother Yi, but he still smiled. So, it's Martial Brother Hai? Hai Wuchuan was polite, and Yi Mo couldn't say much, seeing Yi Mo not interested in talking. Hai Wuchuan said to Jin Bingyu again, I heard that the Chaos Blue Reed is 1,000 kilometers west of here. These people are going over in teams. There might be conflict if it's found. One can't use spirit sense and immortal essence in the extreme star swamp. Why don't us two find 2 more abstruse immortal cultivators and go together? Zhen Bingyu said apologetically to Hai Wuchuan, Sorry, Martial Brother Wu, I'm grouped with Martial Brother Yi. Hai Wuchuan looked at Yi Mo in confusion, and then said to Zhen Bingyu, But Martial Sister Bingyu, Pill Master Yi is only golden immortal power. If Zhen Bingyu's face was getting colder and colder. She didn't like talking about the same thing again and again. Hai Wuchuan clearly knew her character, and seeing her annoyance, he immediately stopped and said again, Then I'll join your team. Teams are usually 4 to 6 people. Before he finished, he was interrupted by Zhen Bingyu again. Martial Brother Wu, just Brother Yi, and I are fine. You can find someone else to team up with. We'll be going inside first. Yi Mo didn't care about what Hai Wuchuan said. He knew that Zhen Bingyu would definitely not team up with Hai Wuchuan. He noticed that a lot of immortals were making magic artifacts, just when he didn't know why they were doing so. Zhen Bingyu had gone in already. Seeing this, Yi Mo immediately followed. There were water ditches and weeds everywhere, as well as some small hills. Yi Mo immediately felt the suppression of spirit sense and immortal essence when he came here. This wasn't a complete suppression. An extremely small amount of immortal essence could be used, and spirit sense could only see around 10 meters. One might as well use their eyes. But this little immortal essence was like nothing. They didn't even have Qi Gathering level 5 power. One could only use magic artifacts at such a power level. Yi Mo realized why body refinement cultivators here had the advantage. In such places, Golden Immortal could definitely challenge great immortals. He also realized why people were making magic artifacts. It was to fly. Despite this, no one really used magic artifact to fly. It was just for backup. There were few shadowless vultures here, but it didn't mean there were none. 1,000 kilometers wasn't far. Despite being suppressed to Qi Gathering middle stage, they were still very fast. Plus, it was just suppression. It didn't mean that the rest of their immortal essence was gone. Cultivators could run like this for a few years without tiring at all. Yi Mo wasn't going to run. He released his top grade, flying magic artifact, and said to Zhen Bingyu, Get on. Zhen Bingyu realized now the benefit of cooperating with Yi Mo. Everyone else had to run, but they could fly. Many cultivators saw Yi Mo dared to use his flying magic artifact, and all looked contemptuous, but Yi Mo didn't care. He sped up the flying magic artifact. Yi Mo didn't waste time on the ship. He used the 3-birth chant to see if he could release some of his suppressed immortal essence. Yi Mo was just testing, but what shocked him was that his immortal essence immediately started to be released. Even his spirit sense started to recover slowly. Yi Mo was overwhelmed with shock. The 3-birth chant was too insane. In a place where even immortal emperors couldn't resolve the problem of suppression, he could recover some of his immortal essence. Who would be able to beat him here? What happened to you? Zhen Bingyu's power was suppressed, but it didn't lower her senses. Yi Mo smiled. I'm still a little injured. I'm going to slow the ship down. Okay, but watch out for shadowless vultures. Zhen Bingyu nodded. How about this? Let's stop at a quiet place, and once I recover, we'll go. Yi Mo asked. He didn't want Zhen Bingyu to see that he could recover his power, but he couldn't give this flying magic artifact to Zhen Bingyu. After all, shadowless vultures here wouldn't be suppressed. Zhen Bingyu frowned, but still agreed. Yi Mo clearly said he had pretty much recovered, so why did he need to recover now? Yi Mo changed the direction the ship went and found some brush to sit in. He threw down a few stealth formations and a few defense formations discs. Zhen Bingyu could only watch Yi Mo do this. Seeing that Yi Mo still used stealth formation disc, she felt very contemptuous. Yi Mo immediately used Three Birth Chant at full power inside the stealth formation disc. His immortal essence and spirit sense grew rapidly. Soon, he was foundation establishment state. 5 minutes later, he was body condensation state power. 15 minutes later, Yi Mo's power recovered to golden immortal primary stage. Half an hour later, Yi Mo completely recovered his power. Yi Mo got out in joy. "Can we go now?" Zhen Bingyu asked plainly. "Of course. I'm fully recovered. Let's go." Yi Mo really wanted to show off and release Blue Moon, but he knew if he did, he would die for sure. Unless he could kill whoever saw him on Blue Moon, the powerful beings of the 11 grand heaven domains might come for him. This time, Yi Mo released a middle grade flying magic artifact. Seeing Yi Mo use a worse one, Zhen Bingyu looked strangely at Yi Mo, but still said nothing. 15 minutes later, they arrived 1,000 kilometers west of Extreme Star Swamp. After getting off, he saw that this place was filled. Seeing nearly 2,000 cultivators look for the Chaos Blue Reed, Yi Mo knew the hopes were slim. With this many immortals searching here, even a needle would be found. With this many immortals searching here, even a needle would be found. Yi Mo didn't scan with his spirit sense. The Chaos Blue Reed wasn't a needle, and he wasn't blind. There were so many people here. If someone found the Chaos Blue Reed, it would be very obvious. There was only endless water ditches here, and some small hills. At an ordinary place like this, even low-level immortal spirit herbs would be hard to find, much less the Chaos Blue Reed. I think we've been tricked. How can there be a Chaos Blue Reed here? There's no immortal spirit chi here. Everyone think about it. What sort of thing is the Chaos Blue Reed? Can it appear at the outskirts of the Extreme Star Swamp? Some cultivators asked. There's Chaos Blue Reed here. My friend definitely wouldn't lie. If he lied, he wouldn't have been killed, one golden immortal peak stage immediately said. Only now did everyone realize that this person spread the news. If he spread fake news, he wouldn't be coming here himself. Did you remember wrong? We didn't find anything. No, my friend remembered clearly that there was a huge water ditch 1,000 kilometers west of Extreme Star Swamp. See, there's a huge water ditch here. My friend said the Chaos Blue Reed was to the side of or inside the water ditch. Then almost everyone looked at the huge water ditch. Was the Chaos Blue Reed really in here? Splash, someone had already jumped in, wanting to check if it was in there. Seeing the water ripples, Yi Mo suddenly thought of something. He realized what happened. He had been to deserts and knew there would be mirages there. Was the Chaos Blue Reed that cultivator saw a mirage too? This meant that there was definitely a Chaos Blue Reed, but it wasn't here. There might be some sudden light that reflected the Chaos Blue Reed here. Yi Mo knew the actual place might be really far from here. Thinking about this, Yi Mo was planning to leave. Just as that immortal said, there was no way Chaos Blue Reed would be here. The Extreme Star Swamp was boundless, but he had recovered his power. He had some hope of finding it. Yi Mo said to Zhen Bingyu, since there's no Chaos Blue Reed, here I'm going other places here for a spin. Martial Sister Bingyu, let's split off here. Good luck, Martial Sister Bingyu. However, when he turned around, Zhen Bingyu followed him. There's definitely no Chaos Blue Reed here. Why are you still following me? Yi Mo asked in confusion. Before Zhen Bingyu could reply, a voice sounded. I know what's going on. It's definitely a mirage. That's right, mirage. Yeah, how come I didn't think of it? Some cultivators clapped. Now, most cultivators here realized what was going on. Yi Mo felt his nose. As soon as he thought of it, someone else did too. Now, Zhen Bingyu probably thought he wanted to do it alone. Indeed. Zhen Bingyu looked coldly at Yi Mo. You knew this was a mirage. So, you wanted to avoid me, right? Yes, indeed. But now that you know, then let's go if you still want to team up with me. Yi Mo admitted it. Zhen Bingyu said nothing and followed Yi Mo without hesitation. She knew that in here, Yi Mo was much more powerful than her. This was the Chaos Blue Reed, so she wasn't going to go alone. Realizing this was a mirage, many immortals started going around searching. Where do we go? Zhen Bingyu looked at Yi Mo and asked, where there is dense immortal spirit chi. Yi Mo flew even faster. When he left the crowded place, he changed to a top-grade flying magic artifact and brought the speed to max. 5 days later, Zhen Bingyu finally couldn't resist it anymore and said, we can't keep going in. My power has been suppressed to almost nothing. I can only use my own bodily power. I'm weaker than an ordinary martial artist. There are martial artists in Immortal Realm? Yi Mo asked, did you think the lowest in the Immortal Realm are all hollow immortal? Zhen Bingyu asked coldly. No, I've seen some disaster transformation state and truth realization states. I just didn't expect there were martial artists. There are not only martial artists, but if they cultivate to the extreme, they are no weaker than status immortals. It's just that we haven't touched their world yet. In here, martial artists are the most suited. Their power wouldn't be suppressed at all. Why do no martial artists come? Because powerful martial artists don't care about it, and low-level martial artists can't make it here. Yi Mo nodded and said slowly, I'm going to search further in. If Martial Sister Bingyu doesn't want to team up with me, I can give you my magic artifact. I have some spirit stones here. You can have them too. This way you can still leave here. You want me to die? Zhen Bingyu's tone grew cold. Yi Mo had killed 3 shadowless vultures on the way here. Telling her to go back was telling her to die. Then stop talking. Since we're a team, you go where I go, Yi Mo said. Zhen Bingyu's face was ice cold, but she couldn't be bothered saying anything to Yi Mo. The two didn't talk, but Yi Mo's flying magic artifact was getting faster and faster. Eventually, he even changed to an extreme grade magic artifact. Zhen Bingyu felt her power was being suppressed more and more, but she said nothing. She was suspicious of Yi Mo theoretically. The further they went, the more they would be suppressed, and the flying magic artifact should be slower, but Yi Mo was getting faster and faster. He even changed his top grade magic artifact to an extreme grade magic artifact. Seeing the top grade spirit stones attached in the extreme grade flying magic artifact, she realized what was going on. People could forge extreme grade magic artifacts here, but where would they get top grade spirit stones? Other than a rare few immortals, most immortals wouldn't prepare spirit stones. The worst they had were low-grade immortal crystals. But in here, spirit stones were useful. 2 days later, Yi Mo suddenly stopped. He looked at the purple in front of him, and fire popped out of his eyes. 6-winged purple radish, Zhen Bingyu called out in shock. She fought with 2 abstruse immortals over 4 before, but now there were 100. She even heard Yi Mo gulp. She looked back at Yi Mo and shook her head. This pill master, Yi was too lacking in maturity. The 6-winged purple radish was indeed very valuable, but as an immortal, he was about to drool when seeing good things. He didn't have the mannerism of an immortal at all. It was no wonder he couldn't control himself. What do we do with these? Zhen Bingyu asked. 1 to 9. I take 90%. You take 10%, Yi Mo said without hesitation. Yi Mo thought Zhen Bingyu wouldn't agree, but unexpectedly she agreed without hesitation. Okay, I agree. Yi Mo thought Zhen Bingyu wouldn't agree, but unexpectedly she agreed without hesitation. Okay, I agree. Yi Mo was dazed, but he immediately realized Zhen Bingyu couldn't do anything here. Even if he gave her nothing, she could only succumb to fate. Despite realizing this, Yi Mo didn't change his mind. He wasn't going to change his promise. I'll go collect them. Shun Bingyu was very proactive. She knew she pretty much got these for free while doing nothing. As soon as she took 2 steps forward, Yi Mo pulled her and she fell back. If Yi Mo didn't move back, she would be in Yi Mo's arms. What are you doing? Shun Bingyu asked coldly. She wasn't afraid of Yi Mo insulting her body, but scared that Yi Mo would take her virginity essence. That way, her cultivation would be greatly compromised. Virginity essence was good for cultivation. Plus, her heritage cultivation method had a strict requirement on this. Yi Mo wasn't going to be interested in such a boring woman. He said coldly, "Can't you see what I'm doing?" Without a need for Yi Mo to say anything, Shun Bingyu saw that there were tens of level 2 immortal spirit beasts and 1 level 3 around the immortal spirit herbs. Swamp tiger crocodile, Shun Bingyu called out in shock. These were immortal spirit beasts in the depths of the swamp. They couldn't fly, but they were extremely fast. Their hide was tough and had immeasurable strength. Their beast essence power wouldn't be limited by the swamp and were much more powerful than ordinary immortal spirit beasts. Even a golden immortal peak stage might not be a match for a level 2 swamp tiger crocodile, much less tens of level 2 swamp tiger crocodiles and 1 level 3. Even though they couldn't fly, cultivators with flying magic artifacts might not be able to get away from them. They could jump 10 meters high and could join up to form space bindings. Yi Mo knew the value of swamp tiger crocodiles. They didn't have beast cores, but they had beast essence crystals. They were worth much more than beast cores. High-level beast essence cores could be used to concoct some special pills, as well as high-level runes. They could even help immortal spirit beast pets break through. The swamp tiger crocodile's skin and bones were top-grade forgery materials. These swamp tiger crocodiles had dispersed surrounding them. What do we do? Shun Bingyu looked worriedly at Yi Mo. She had used her only instant transmission rune. Yi Mo frowned. He wasn't afraid of them, but if he fought, his power would be exposed, and Shun Bingyu was here. But he really couldn't kill her to keep his secret. The swamp tiger crocodiles roared. They were slow, but they didn't stop, probably because they didn't know the two's power yet. What are you thinking about at this moment? Shun Bingyu suddenly asked. Yi Mo knew he wasn't going to die, so of course he thought of nothing. But now that she asked, he thought of Susu, Qingxue, Jingwen, and them. Yi Mo's face also appeared in his mind. I'm thinking, if I don't die here today, perhaps I might accomplish Master's wish and become a status immortal one day, Shun Bingyu murmured, seeing that Yi Mo didn't answer her. Yi Mo sneered. You won't die today, but if you want to become a status immortal, you should wake up. His Tao heart was completely different to Shun Bingyu. He felt the Tao meant experiencing all facets of life. He definitely didn't believe that someone who thought their body was just flesh and bones would reach the top of Tao. Just when Yi Mo was about to attack, laughter sounded. That speed was countless times faster than his extreme grade flying magic artifact. Good. These swamp tiger crocodiles are trash, but these 106-winged purple radishes are good. My Fong Timos, luck is indeed the best. A gray-robed man appeared. Yi Mo didn't scan him, but from his ferocious chi, Yi Mo knew that this man's cultivation level might be much higher than his. A level 2 swamp tiger crocodile heard this and charged over with a roar. That man didn't care at all and punched. Seeing this punch, Yi Mo's eyes narrowed. He clearly saw that space itself was about to condense under this punch. Thud blood flew, and this level 2 swamp tiger crocodile was punched to a bloody mist by this man. There was no beast essence core, nor bones. Yi Mo took in a cold breath. He knew he definitely wouldn't be able to do this. Immortal nirvana body, immortal, Shun Bingyu called out in shock. That Fong Timo looked at Shun Bingyu and suddenly said, such an exquisite immortal. Good eyes, you can tell that I have an immortal nirvana body. He then scanned Yi Mo and shook his head. What a waste, he doesn't deserve you. You should be my concubine. Zhen Bingyu's face was calm. She didn't seem unhappy at all. Instead, with this man's arrival, she might be saved. Yi Mo's face was calm too, but he was shaken that this man was immortal nirvana body. He could tell this man wasn't immortal nirvana body primary stage. On top of that, this man was at least great immortal level, a great immortal with immortal nirvana body refinement. Even if he was a great unity immortal, he could run away from a great eternity immortal. The swamp tiger crocodiles realized the power of this man, but didn't want to just retreat like that. Seeing this, the man howled and attacked the swamp tiger crocodiles. Thud, thud, blood mist sprayed in the air. The ferocious swamp tiger crocodiles turned into nothing under this man's punches. That level 3 swamp tiger crocodile was very smart and ran away. The rest of the swamp tiger crocodiles followed. The man didn't chase but looked back at Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu. Yi Mo was feeling that those beast essence crystals would be worth some money. An abstruse immortal primary stage and a golden immortal primary stage dare to come here, the man said coldly. If Qianbei has no other thing, then we'll go first. Zhen Bingyu saw that Yi Mo didn't talk, so she spoke. She knew that the 6-winged purple radish wouldn't be theirs. The man waved his hand. You're just going to leave like that after I saved your lives? Then what does Qianbei want? Zhen Bingyu didn't know why Yi Mo said nothing. Yi Mo was thinking what his chances of victory would be if he ambushed this man. You stay. On your account, he can go. The man nodded. You're very good, good-looking and calm. I like such concubines. Sorry, I won't be your concubine. My Dao heart is firm. No one can stop me from pursuing the great Dao. Zhen Bingyu said coldly, You want me to kill you? How can you cultivate without a life? I never force anyone to be my concubine, but I saved you just then. If you don't be my wife, you need to die again. The man sneered. Yi Mo sneered back. Did I ask you to save me? If I say those swamp tiger crocodiles were my beast essence crystals, and you just destroyed them all, and I want you to compensate, what are you going to do? Zhen Bingyu looked at Yi Mo with a face full of shock, not understanding why Yi Mo was aggravating this man. Haha, interesting. Feng Timo laughed, but didn't get angry. Haha, interesting. Feng Timo laughed, but didn't get angry. He studied Yi Mo, a golden immortal dares to come here, and dares to say you didn't ask me to save you. You indeed have balls. But you're right. I did come save you on my own accord. Then thank you, Qianbei. Yi Mo saluted with his fists. Since Qianbei doesn't mind, we'll go collect the 6-winged purple radish and leave. Hearing this, Zhen Bingyu was even more worried. Yi Mo seemed very cunning. Did he have no awareness of the situation? This Feng Timo was a rather clean person. Since he didn't plan to kill them, they should hurry up and leave. Why did Yi Mo still want the 6-winged purple radish? You still want the 6-winged purple radish? Feng Timo also looked at Yi Mo with disbelief. It was as though he heard the funniest joke in the world. A golden immortal primary stage dared to talk back to him and mention the 6-winged purple radish in front of him. Did he really not fear death? Yi Mo smiled. Look at your words, Qianbei. We found the 6-winged purple radish first. We were planning to harvest them, and you came. Do I have to throw down my own things? What logic is that? You have balls. After a long while, Feng Timo spat out these 3 words. He thought that Yi Mo saw through what character he was, so he dared to say such words. He wasn't very annoyed. He was proud of himself for being a clean character. Now that it was approved by Yi Mo, how could he not continue to feel good about himself? If it was some ordinary immortal spirit herb, he might really give it up, but he really didn't want to give up the 6-winged purple radish. Little did he know that Yi Mo didn't see through his character, but that he wasn't afraid of him. Yi Mo had calculated that even if this was an immortal spirit body, great unity immortal, he didn't fear a fight here. Zhen Bingyu sighed. She was prepared to help Yi Mo if Yi Mo wanted to fight Feng Timo. They were still in a team, and she didn't want to go against her promise. But with her current ability, there was no difference whether she helped or not. Just when Feng Timo looked at the flying sword, there was joy on his face. He turned to leave, but after he walked a few meters, he turned back and said, "You both owe me a life. This small golden immortal can use six-winged purple radish to pay me back. As for this goddess, you can be my concubine. Otherwise, you can only give that life back to me." Before Zhen Bingyu could react, Yi Mo said plainly, "Qian Bei, you're wrong. You owe me 10 tiger crocodiles. I don't feel I owe you anything." Feng Timo, who was a few hundred meters away, almost fell overhearing this, but he didn't stop. He sped off faster. Seeing Feng Timo leave, Zhen Bingyu took a long sigh of relief. She even felt she was sweating cold. She then looked coldly at Yi Mo. "Did you know you almost made me die with you?" "At most I would die. He would still want you to be his concubine. He probably wouldn't kill you," Yi Mo said, and then he went to harvest the six-winged purple radish. "Be his concubine? I'm not that low. My life pursuit is the great Tao, not anything else," Zhen Bingyu added coldly. Then she looked at Yi Mo and said, "You don't seem dumb. Why are you seeking death? If we stay in a team, I don't want you to be like this next time." "Sorry, if Feng Timo comes back, I would still do the same thing. If you don't want to team up with me, then go where you please." Yi Mo collected the six-winged purple radish. Zhen Bingyu shook his head and said no more. She really didn't understand why Qin Nianmei and Feng Chunma would like such a person. She didn't even consider that Hai Wuchuan who followed her everywhere and sucked up to her. But compared to this Yi Mo, he was 10 times better. But today that Feng Timo is a rather good person. Next time I see him, I will help him. Yi Mo praised Feng Timo. But if they really fought, he would kill this person. Zhen Bingyu shook her head speechlessly. Feng Timo was not only great immortal, but also immortal nirvana body. Who would be helping who? Yet a golden immortal dared to say he would help a great immortal. "Wait," Yi Mo suddenly thought something and said, "What's wrong?" Zhen Bingyu asked. Yi Mo said calmly that Feng Timo could have taken the six-winged purple radishes, but why did he leave in such a hurry? Why did he tell me to use six-winged purple radishes to pay him back? Feng Timo is great immortal power. Why is he here? Yi Mo asked. Zhen Bingyu was very smart, and now that Yi Mo asked, she immediately realized. "You're saying he came for the Chaos Blue Reed? If I'm not wrong, he probably is. What else would be more precious than 106-winged purple radishes in here?" Yi Mo asked. "You're saying that the messenger flying sword he got was about the Chaos Blue Reed?" Zhen Bingyu immediately asked. Yi Mo released his extreme grade flying magic artifact and said, "Get on quickly. Let's go look." Zhen Bingyu got up, but asked worriedly, "It's not too good for us to go like that, right?" "We can't beat that Feng Timo," Yi Mo said coldly. "If you don't want to go, I'll give you this flying magic artifact, and I'll go alone." Zhen Bingyu put on a cold face and ignored Yi Mo. She had no choice but to follow Yi Mo. She had quite a high possibility of dying here if she left alone. Before the ship could fly very far, a black figure charged over. There were a few more figures behind them. Swamp tiger crocodile. Zhen Bingyu didn't expect them to be this cunning. As soon as that immortal nirvana body, immortal, left, they came back for revenge. Before Zhen Bingyu could feel despair, Yi Mo released Sisu. Illusion Cloud Domain Kill Strike. The purple sword ray swiped across the dull sky with a faint purple ray. Blood splashed, and those few crocodiles were killed. Only that level 3 crocodile barely dodged Yi Mo's purple sword ray. The level 3 crocodile immediately realized that this guy who seemed to be waiting for death before wasn't easy to mess with, and immediately turned to run away. Since Yi Mo exposed his power, How could he let this crocodile go? He flew out from the flying ship and hacked out again. Multiple purple rays blocked off the crocodile's escape path. At this moment, this crocodile was truly worried, and in his roar shot out tens of sword chi. There was the screeching sound of space. If those sword chi landed, even Yemo would be injured. But Yemo wanted to desperately kill this guy, so even if he got injured, he would have to kill it quickly. Yemo didn't dodge the sword chi at all, and released Sisu as well as multiple rays of lightning. When the crocodile was struck by the thick lightning, it couldn't keep attacking Yemo and spat a few more sword chi before running away. Yemo almost spat blood when the sword chi hit him. There was a huge hole in his armor. A blood arrow shot out. Meanwhile, the crocodile was also hacked open into a bloody mist. Yemo threw the bodies in his storage ring and got back on the ship and flew rapidly towards where Feng Timo went. Zhen Bingyu just realized and looked at Yemo in shock. Your power isn't bound? How did you do it? You're a lightning spirit root cultivator too? She finally understood what Yemo meant before. Yemo's power wasn't bound, and with his ability to kill those high cultivation level in him, he really didn't fear that Feng Timo. If the two fought, Yemo might be able to kill that Feng Timo. How I did it is my business. Yemo frowned at Zhen Bingyu. How I did it is my business. Yemo frowned at Zhen Bingyu. Zhen Bingyu seemed to know what Yemo wanted to say next and said, "Don't worry about me spilling it. I know your heritage isn't ordinary. If I would spill it, I wouldn't remind you to be careful about your body refinement cultivation method." Yemo nodded. He believed Zhen Bingyu, but even so, he had decided to leave Fengji Heaven immediately and never return to Gonghua Heaven. The flying ship flew for about 6 minutes before Yemo suddenly stopped. His spirit sense scanned Feng Timo, but there wasn't just him. There were at least 3 cultivators with him. They all didn't seem to have their power suppressed. There was a small lake in front of them, but there was an extremely tall mountain in the middle. The mountain was shrouded in mist, but when Yemo's spirit sense saw clearly, he was struck with a fit of excitement. He almost charged up, as not far from the top of the peak, there was a rock that bulged out. Below it was a blue immortal spirit herb. It was the chaos blue reed. Luckily, he controlled himself. There were 4 people over there, including Feng Timo. Yemo knew that his power wouldn't be weaker than his despite being suppressed. Those 3 could have a standoff against Feng Timo. Clearly they weren't ordinary. Plus, Feng Timo was definitely called over by one of them. That meant that if he charged up, he would need to face against 2 Feng Timos or the gang of the 4 of them. No matter how powerful Yemo was, he didn't dare to do this. Yemo changed the direction of the flying ship, and 10 minutes later, Yemo found a small hill full of weeds and landed there. Seeing Yemo land the ship at such a corner again, she frowned and asked, "Why did you stop here?" "Don't worry, I'm not interested in your body. If you want to go, then please do." Yemo said this again. Zhen Bingyu shook her head speechlessly. This was all Yemo could say. She watched Yemo silently as he set up a trap and stealth formation. "How long are you going to stay in the Chaos Star Realm?" Yemo suddenly asked. He wanted her to go immediately, but he was also afraid she would leave before him. Zhen Bingyu looked coldly at him and said, "At least until I reach abstruse immortal peak stage. It might be a few 100 or 1,000 years. You don't need to worry about me going out first and exposing the secret on you. Plus, I don't know what secret you have. I just know you have a powerful heritage." Yemo didn't mind her seeing through what he thought. He had to ask clearly about this, or he wouldn't mind planting some restrictions on her. "How long will you stay?" Strangely, Zhen Bingyu asked him the same question back. In Yemo's impression, she only cared about her cultivation. She never asked him about private things. Yemo fell silent for a moment and said, "Perhaps I will go out after reaching abstruse immortal." With your progress, You should be faster than me. Zhen Bingyu's face eased up. She paused and said, There are 9 levels of the Chaos Star Realm. We're only at the first level. The further you go, the harder it is. Rarely can cultivators reach the 9th level. Not even great immortals can. It's not that the further you go, the better the resources and ease of cultivation. The first level has a lot of resources and cultivation grounds. However, the further you go, the cultivation resources doesn't increase much, but the difficulty dramatically increases. Yi Mo nodded. I heard there's another saying, there are 36 levels of the Chaos Star Realm. Which one is correct? Zhen Bingyu shook her head and replied, I don't know which one is correct. My master told me there are entrances to here in the middle and grand heaven domains. Even an immortal emperor wouldn't be able to figure out if the level 1 we go to at the lower heaven domain would be the same as the middle heaven domain. The Chaos Star Realm is too big. Even for the first level, no one has been able to reach the end. Yi Mo's spirit sense noticed that Feng Timo fought with one of the people. He was a body refinement immortal, but the other person seemed to be able to release magic artifacts. The other 2 cultivators seemed to be in a standoff and were about to fight. Yi Mo felt assured that the 4 didn't take away the Chaos Blue Reed because they weren't on the same grounds. These are yours. Yi Mo took out 10 6-winged purple radishes and gave them to Zhen Bingyu. He promised these to her. It felt uncomfortable keeping them on him. Thank you. Zhen Bingyu took them and said, After we leave the extreme star swamp, I still want to team up with you for trial. Is that okay? She had some understanding of Yi Mo. She knew that Yi Mo valued cultivation resources greatly and may intervene in ones that didn't belong to him. However, he was very trustworthy and wouldn't turn on people in danger. She thought about this for a while. If she teamed up with Yi Mo, she didn't have to worry about backstabbing. Plus, the 2 pursued the same thing, and that was body refinement. She felt she would be able to get more benefits teaming up with Yi Mo. The 6-winged purple radishes were a good example. Yi Mo gave her 10 casually without hesitation. If it was some selfish cultivator, she might have been killed already. No, Yi Mo rejected without hesitation. Zhen Bingyu was useless to him, and he had too many secrets. He hadn't exposed them yet, but Zhen Bingyu knew his heritage was substantial. Plus, she came from a great eternity immortal sect and had a great eternity immortal master. Yi Mo didn't want to have contact with such a person, at least not now. Plus, Zhen Bingyu's Dao heart made him feel uncomfortable. I can take you from the 1st level to the 4th level. I know a lot of places here, which places are for body refinement, which places are for spirit sense, which places are for immortal essence, and where there will be immortal spirit herbs. I know most of them. Plus, I know there's an immortal spirit herb mountain at the 4th level. It's very hidden. My master went there once, tens of thousands of years ago. After all these years, there will definitely be many more immortal spirit herbs there. Zhen Bingyu knew what Yi Mo thought. What level? Yi Mo immediately asked. He lacked level 5 and level 6 immortal spirit herbs the most right now. Zhen Bingyu immediately said, From level 1 to level 6, there are more level 4 to level 6. But I must say this first, ordinary people can't find it at all. My master told me so I can collect some immortal spirit herbs back. You can only take a small part. Then how much is that? Yi Mo didn't know how big the mountain was, and how much was a small part? Zhen Bingyu was lost for words. I don't know, I think at least a few hundred. Yi Mo fell in silence and said, Let me think about it. Then he got up and said to her, Stay here and wait for me. I'm going to leave for a while. This formation is a level 2 immortal formation. If you don't go out, there won't be any danger. Zhen Bingyu was certain that Yi Mo was going to find the Chaos Blue Reed, and immediately nodded. Okay, I'll definitely wait for you here. Yi Mo believed in his stealth cultivation method, but against a great immortal like Feng Timo, he didn't dare to be careless. The difference between a great immortal and heaven immortal wasn't anything like the difference between golden immortal and abstruse immortal. Yi Mo believed in his stealth cultivation method, but against a great immortal like Feng Timo, he didn't dare to be careless. The difference between a great immortal and heaven immortal wasn't anything like the difference between golden immortal and abstruse immortal. 6 minutes later, Yi Mo crept near the four. He chose to come at this time because the four had started fighting. Now was the safest time. Zhong being keeping on fighting like this won't resolve anything. That chaos blue reed isn't something that one person can take down alone. So what if you and Feng Timo win? Plus, you two can't kill both me and Tan Tom. I think we should discuss how we can divide it, one fat man said. The fat man fought a ferocious-looking gray-robed man. Hearing this, he said to Feng Timo immediately, Timo, this Han Wei-Chen is right. We should discuss things and see if we can cooperate better. Cooperate, my ass. This fat pig wants us brothers to take charge, and when we divide things, we get the least. He's dreaming. Feng Timo rejected without hesitation and attacked even more ferociously. Yi Mo saw that Feng Timo and Zhong Being were both body refinement cultivators, both reaching immortal nirvana body. Meanwhile, Han Wei-Chen and Tan Tong seemed to have used a secret technique to be able to use part of their power here. But one thing was certain. These four were all great immortal power. Humph, Timo, how do you know things won't work if we don't discuss? Plus, even if you two win, do you think you two body refinement cultivators can get to the top? Do you dare to go from the bottom of the lake? Tan Tong sneered. His face was very white. If we can't go up, can you guys go up? Feng Timo rebutted. Yi Mo just realized now that it wasn't so easy to get up this peak. While the four were having fun fighting, Yi Mo quietly got near the other side of the lake. Yi Mo worried too much. These four were busy fighting, but even if they weren't, their power was suppressed, and it was very hard to find him. Yi Mo didn't dare to release flying his magic artifact. The ripples in space brought by the flying magic artifact would be caught by these four. The lake water seemed very cold, but when Yi Mo stepped foot on it, this terrifying temperature almost instantly melted his shoe. This temperature was countless times higher than the void flame. If he wasn't God's state body refinement, he might be heavily injured already. Thinking about that cold pond before, Yi Mo suddenly shivered. That pond looked normal, but it was freezing cold inside, and he found the skeleton of an ancient being there. There were 4 six-winged purple radishes outside that one. Here, the water was extremely hot, and there was a chaos blue reed. Would the two be connected? He thought about when he was running. That skeleton told him he knew where the chaos blue reed was. Was that skeleton talking about here? Did that skeleton not want to possess him, but make him get the chaos blue reed for him, so he could rebuild his body? Thinking about this, Yi Mo shivered. He really wanted to dash up into the sky. This searing lake felt like a monster's mouth to him, but Yi Mo resisted that urge. He just sped up a little. If he flew up now, it would be signaling to those four that someone else was here. Luckily, Yi Mo wasn't swept in by the lake water. Yi Mo landed on the peak, while the four were still fighting like crazy. It seemed that they were evenly matched. Yi Mo just wanted to speed up to the mountaintop, but an invisible sword ray hacked over. The higher he went, the more dense these sword rays were. On top of that, the higher he went, the greater the pressure. It was as though the pressure wanted to push him into the lake water. Yi Mo cursed. He couldn't release his octagonal cauldron, nor Zisu to block them. He could only let the sword rays tear his body. Even though he was God's state body refinement, he was covered in wounds when he was only halfway up. Even so, Yi Mo didn't dare to expose himself and gritted his teeth, bearing the cuts on his body as he carefully climbed up. 6 minutes later, Yi Mo came before the chaos blue rebloodied, but he noticed the four had stopped fighting. Yi Mo carefully ate a few pills, but he didn't dig out the chaos blue reed. He hid on the side waiting. the four seemed to have started discussing. Yi Mo hoped the four wouldn't come to an agreement. Otherwise, even though he was next to the Chaos Blue reed, he wouldn't be able to take it away. Luckily, after a while, the four started fighting again. Yi Mo breathed easy. Yi Mo took away the Chaos Blue reed extremely quickly and went through the Sword Mountain before coming down to the lake. Yi Mo wasn't scared of the Sword Mountain. He was scared of this lake. He felt there was some connection to the really cold pond. Yi Mo darted next to the lake and carefully crept away a few kilometers before quickly releasing Blue Moon and disappearing instantly. Not good. The Chaos Blue reed is gone? That pale-faced Tantong was the first to notice. It was clearly there when they stopped fighting, but in a short while it was gone. Clearly someone had stole it. With it gone, the four no longer had the mood to fight. What is going on? Foam Timo frowned and asked. The Chaos Blue reed was very important to body refinement cultivators. It wasn't just used for nirvana, it could also allow him to reach immortal god body. There were definitely two people who stole the Chaos Blue reed. One person can't get it unless his spirit sense and immortal essence are both intact, and he is also a body refinement cultivator. It hasn't been more than 15 minutes since the Chaos Blue reed disappeared. The two didn't get far, the fat cultivator said. Search, Foam Timo said coldly. It was the first time he was so furious. Someone dared to steal the Chaos Blue reed in front of him. If he knew who this person was, he would eat him bite by bite. No matter how smart the fat man was, he wouldn't know that Yi Mo could release Blue Moon in here and was tens of thousands of kilometers away. Shen Bingyu was in the stealth formation, but she didn't have the mood to cultivate. She was thinking about where Yi Mo got his heritage from. She didn't feel it was strange that Yi Mo became duo cultivation partners with Qin Nianmei. If the heart was connected, duo cultivation could indeed improve one's power, but using this method made it hard to achieve Vindicate Dao. Since Yi Mo had such good heritage and a Dao partner, he shouldn't be immersed in something as meaningless as lust. Other than some rare cultivation methods and some demon cultivators, rarely did immortals immerse themselves in lust. She was certain that Yi Mo's cultivation method wasn't that type of cultivation method, but she saw Yi Mo and Feng Chuanma come out the room that day, and Feng Chuanma's clothes were messy. Her face seemed excited too, yet Yi Mo was heartless to Feng Chuanma afterwards, leaving without even saying goodbye. She knew that Yi Mo didn't truly like Feng Chuanma. In that case, why did Feng Chuanma still want to send him off? She knew Feng Chuanma. She seemed really goofy, but her character was strong. She would definitely not chase up on a man after being played. The only possibility was that there was some sort of deal between them. Feng Chuanma used her virginity essence to trade something with Yi Mo. Suddenly, Yi Mo charged in, covered in blood. Before Zhen Bingyu could say anything, he quickly put away the formation flags and said, "Get on the flying magic artifact. Leave now." Suddenly, Yi Mo charged in, covered in blood. Before Zhen Bingyu could say anything, he quickly put away the formation flags and said, "Get on the flying magic artifact. Leave now." Zhen Bingyu knew things weren't right, and she got on Blue Moon without hesitation. Blue Moon quickly disappeared in a blue ray. "What happened? Did you fight with that Foam Timo?" Zhen Bingyu asked. "No, but if we don't leave quickly, then we'll really be fighting when they chase up. You control Blue Moon. We'll go to Chaos Star Realm's second level immediately," Yi Mo said quickly. They had spent a few days coming in, but now Yi Mo put Blue Moon on max speed, and they left the extreme star swamp in half an hour. There were no cultivators at the outskirts now. These cultivators had all left. Okay, Zhen Bingyu was smart and knew that since Yi Mo let her lead the way, it meant Yi Mo agreed to team up with her. She took control of Blue Moon. Half a month later, Blue Moon was still speeding rapidly. Yi Mo killed quite a few shadowless vultures, but Zhen Bingyu said they still weren't at the second floor. Yi Mo finally couldn't resist and asked, "How far is it from level 2? 2 more months of flying," Zhen Bingyu answered. Yi Mo thought with Blue Moon's speed they would arrive in a few days, but now they still had so long to go. Yi Mo looked at her speechlessly. "Why didn't you say so earlier?" Yi Mo's wounds had recovered, but he needed to change his clothes. Plus, he needed to organize the 6-winged purple radishes he found. More importantly, Yi Mo felt Blue Moon was too slow. He wanted to use the shadowless vulture's main feather to upgrade it once. He was planning to do this at level 2, but now that it was so far away, he could only do it now. "Since it's cooperation, of course I'm going to listen to you." "You didn't ask me. I thought you only wanted me to lead the way," Zhen Bingyu said. Yi Mo was dazed. He didn't agree to the cooperation. He just said he would think about it. He was planning for her to take him to level 2 and give part of the Chaos Blue Reed to her before separating. Yi Mo really wanted to go to that immortal herb mountain, but Yi Mo realized that even if he didn't go, he would be able to find a bunch of level 5 immortal spirit herbs here. He realized what Zhen Bingyu meant. He didn't say anything, so she purposely took it as accepting the cooperation. Yi Mo thought about it. Cooperation was fine. He was only going to be cultivating and collecting immortal spirit herbs. When he cultivated, he would set up a formation. Zhen Bingyu wouldn't be able to see through it. Plus, Zhen Bingyu had some secrets. He didn't feel secure letting her leave. "Find a place to rest first, then we'll go to level 2. Yi Mo nodded. Zhen Bingyu spoke very coldly, but she was very nervous inside. She was afraid Yi Mo would reject her on the spot. If Yi Mo rejected, it would really be hard for her to bring this up again. If she used her flying magic artifact, it wouldn't take 2 months, but she didn't remind Yi Mo. She wanted to waste more time. That way it would be harder for Yi Mo to reject. Now that Yi Mo said this, clearly it meant he agreed. Half an hour later, Zhen Bingyu found a seclusive valley and flew Blue Moon inside to the depths. "This place is good. We'll open up a cultivation home here." Yi Mo pointed at a small mountain in the valley. It was very simple for them. In 15 minutes, the simple cultivation home was set up. 2 rooms were opened up in the cultivation home. Yi Mo set up a defense formation and immediately took out the Chaos Blue Reed. "Chaos Blue Reed. You really got it." Zhen Bingyu's tone was shaky. Yi Mo really got such rare treasure. Yi Mo felt unsatisfied to give her half, but he didn't say much. "We'll split it now," Yi Mo said. Zhen Bingyu shook her head. "I only need 1 small branch. I didn't do anything to get this. I just told you the news. If it wasn't that this is too important for me, I wouldn't even take a small branch." Yi Mo looked at Zhen Bingyu in confusion. Since when did this woman become like this? But Yi Mo wasn't going to be polite with her, since she asked to have less. Zhen Bingyu said, "You don't need to give it to me now. The Chaos Blue Reed is different than other things. It's best to use it when you go through nirvana. Cut off a small branch for me when I nirvana." Yi Mo heard this and thought that if she could only use a small branch, could he as well? That way the Chaos Blue Reed could stay in his Golden Page world. "It seems I only need a small branch too, and the Chaos Blue Reed can be grown." Yi Mo nodded. Zhen Bingyu shook her head. "That would work to break through, but if you want to reach higher levels of body refinement, I suggest you use the whole thing." Then Zhen Bingyu sighed. If she didn't need to achieve nirvana, she really didn't want to take Yi Mo's small branch. Using the entire Chaos Blue Reed for nirvana was the best. But Zhen Bingyu knew that even if she didn't take the small branch, Yi Mo wouldn't be able to reach that final step. If body refinement could reach divine body, then there wouldn't be only one person to get to that step in the entire history of the immortal realm. Even for the immortal god body, there were only a few people in the entire immortal realm, and some people couldn't even reach the peak. Zhen Bingyu's Dao heart was firm. She didn't do anything to get such rare treasure, and she already felt uncomfortable. She couldn't convince herself to take half. Okay, then. Yi Mo nodded and went into his stone room. Yi Mo was scared that she would charge in again, so he not only set up stealth and barrier formations, but also a defense formation. Then Yi Mo went into the Golden Page world and cleansed himself once before changing into a new set of clothes. The first thing Yi Mo did was transplant the 6 winged radishes and his chaos blue reed into his immortal spirit herb garden. There were more and more good things in the Golden Page world. Yi Mo satisfied himself by looking at it before taking out Blue Moon and 10 pairs of mane feathers from the shadowless vulture. He killed 18 on the way, but he only took out 10 because Shun Bingyu said the shadowless vultures at the 2nd level were much better and faster. Half a month later, Yi Mo used up all his forgery materials and successfully changed Blue Moon into a level 3 flying immortal artifact. The mane feathers could be used to forge the lowest level middle grade flying immortal artifact, but Yi Mo's immortal forgery skills were too low and could only bring it to a level 3 low grade immortal artifact. Yi Mo spent another half a month using the corner soul weeds to improve his spirit sense before leaving the stone room. You didn't cultivate? Yi Mo saw Zhen Bingyu sitting outside the stone room and asked in confusion. No. If we can go, let's go find a body refinement place at level 2. You have the Chaos Blue Reed now, so you can go choose a place for Nirvana. I need to reach God's state too. Shun Bingyu still had a cold face and tone. Okay. Yi Mo nodded. Since cultivation level was too hard to improve, then he could only reach Nirvana body refinement to improve his power. If he was an immortal Nirvana body now, he could fight abstruse, immortal middle stages head-on. Use your flying magic artifact, it's faster, Yi Mo said. Use your flying magic artifact, it's faster, Yi Mo said. Shun Bingyu didn't reject and nodded, releasing a rainbow stamp. Your flying and defense magic artifact are the same? Yi Mo asked. That's right. Shun Bingyu nodded and said, my master used to use this. Now she gave it to me. Rainbow Stamp was just a level 4 flying immortal artifact, but it was still a middle grade flying immortal artifact. However, Yi Mo found that it was only a little faster than the upgraded Blue Moon. 1.5 months later, they arrived at the entrance to level 2. What shook Yi Mo was that there was a small marketplace here. There were tens of thousands of cultivators coming to and fro, looking at the heavenly priced pills and magic artifact. Yi Mo's fire lit up. He looked apologetically at Shun Bingyu. Martial Sister Bingyu, sorry. I need to set up a stall for pill concoction here. If you can't wait, you can go to level 2 first. I'm not in a rush, Shun Bingyu replied plainly, clearly planning to follow Yi Mo no matter what. Yi Mo didn't know what she thought, and even suspected she still was interested in his cultivation method. But he was wary, so thinking about this, Yi Mo nodded. In that case, help me then. Seeing Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu come on a flying magic artifact here, many immortals moved over. Those who could fly in the sky weren't ordinary people. Shadowless vultures weren't something the simple defense formations on flying magic artifacts could stop. They could easily pierce level 1 defense immortal formations, and high-level shadowless vultures could penetrate level 2 and level 3 defense immortal formations. Most of the flying immortal artifacts were low-grade flying immortal artifacts and had at most level 9 spirit formations. Even middle-grade flying immortal artifacts wouldn't have a defense formation higher than a level 2 immortal formation. This was why good flying immortal artifacts were so scarce. Even the best immortal forgery master couldn't allow his forgery skills and formation skills to improve at the same time. Yi Mo wanted to set up a stall to collect level 5 and level 6 immortal spirit herbs. He needed immortal spirit herbs for his trial. Yi Mo released his extreme grade cultivation artifact mansion and set up a sign saying pill concoction can concoct level 3 and below immortal pills. The quality is definitely top-notch. Price is as below. 1 level 4 immortal spirit herb for 1 cauldron of immortal pills, 1 level 5 immortal spirit herb for 2 cauldrons of pills, level 6 immortal spirit herb price up to negotiation. Will be concocting myself. Don't accept immortal crystals. Prepare immortal spirit herb yourselves. Even in the immortal city, where immortal pill masters were very lacking, 1 level 4 immortal spirit herb was enough for more than 1 cauldron of pills level 3 and below. The price YMO set was very expensive, but even so, this still caught everyone's attention. In the boundless chaos star realm, level 4, level 5, and even level 6 herbs could often be found, but pills wouldn't appear out of nowhere. The immortals in level 1 were mostly below grade immortals. Level 3 and below pills were very important for them. Instead of putting level 4 immortal spirit herbs in their storage ring for nothing, they might as well use them for pill concoction. Plus, this simple marketplace was set up by passing immortals. The stall owners changed frequently as they were all here for trial too. Level 3 immortal pill masters were very hard to encounter, and there were none here. Even if a powerful immortal pill master came occasionally, he could at most concoct level 2 immortal pills. You can really concoct level 3 immortal pills. One abstruse immortal primary stage came over and looked at Shin Bingyu before asking carefully. The sign is very clear. You can concoct the abstruse essence pill. Of course, Yi Mo's answer was concise but more convincing. If he could barely concoct level 3 immortal pills, he would use a large amount of words to persuade the customer, but Yi Mo valued each word he said. Okay, I believe you. You're probably a level 3 immortal pill master. You want to collect level 4 immortal spirit herbs to prepare to reach level 4 immortal pill great master, right? The abstruse immortal primary stage asked. Yi Mo smiled. Good eyes, friend. Zhen Bingyu shook her head speechlessly. Anyone would be able to tell this. She really didn't know that Yi Mo didn't even want to take level 4 immortal spirit herbs, but if he didn't, it would expose that he was a level 4 immortal pill master. Only an idiot would do such a thing. A level 3 immortal pill master was precious, but not many people would take notice. So many more people would take note of a level 4 immortal pill great master. I have a level 5 2-leaf poppy. I want to ask you to concoct 2 cauldrons of abstruse essence pills, the abstruse immortal said, and took out 2 sets of materials for the abstruse essence pill, but didn't take out the 2-leaf poppy. Yi Mo knew this guy would give it once he saw the pills, but he didn't mind. He took the ingredients and went inside the mansion. In just over 5 minutes, Yi Mo came out and took out 2 jade bottles. The pills are done. Have a look. If it's right, then give the 2-leaf poppy to me. The abstruse immortal looked at Yi Mo in confusion. He was done with 2 cauldrons of abstruse essence pills this quickly? Even an immortal pill great master had at most this speed. Zhen Bingyu looked at Yi Mo in confusion. She had seen Yi Mo concoct this pill in the match with Gong Sunjiu, but he took half an hour. How did he become so fast? They are all top-grade immortal pills. The abstruse immortal opened the jade bottle and called out in shock. He gave the 2-leaf poppy to Yi Mo without hesitation. Good capabilities, friend. You can concoct top-grade immortal pills in such a short time. You're too good. Those immortals waiting for results on the side all took out their immortal spirit herbs, asking Yi Mo for pill concoction. Yi Mo rejoiced. This method always worked. Last time at the Blackweed Forest, he got large sums of immortal spirit herbs and reached level 3 immortal pill master and then level 4 immortal pill great master. If he stayed here for a few days, it wouldn't be hard for him to reach level 5 immortal pill great master. Zhen Bingyu completely understood now. Her master's guess was right. Yi Mo definitely wasn't a level 3 immortal pill master. He was indeed an immortal pill great master. It was no coincidence that he beat Gong Sunjiu, with one middle-grade immortal pill. It was completely intentional. Seeing that Yi Mo was too busy, Zhen Bingyu came up to help Yi Mo collect immortal spirit herbs while thinking how she could ask Yi Mo to concoct great unity pills for her. And her 11 six-winged purple radishes needed to be turned into pills as well. Thinking about this, Zhen Bingyu felt her decision to team up with Yi Mo was very correct. 2 days later, Yi Mo's pill concoction business was getting better and better. Yi Mo's speed was getting faster and faster, but he didn't dare to overdo it. He didn't dare to concoct a single special grade pill. Otherwise, it would mean that he was a pill concoction great master. I haven't seen such a powerful immortal pill master for so many times. I've been here for a few decades. A few years ago, this Yen level 3 immortal pill master had such a level, but I feel this immortal pill master is much better than that Yen. I know that pill master too. He went to level 2. He's indeed very good, but his pill concoction isn't as fast as this immortal pill master, and his quality isn't as good either. Yi Mo heard these people discussing when he just came out. He had concocted pills for 7 days here, collecting quite some level 4 and level 5 immortal spirit herbs. He didn't collect any level 6 immortal spirit herbs, but Yi Mo was certain these level 5 immortal spirit herbs were enough for him to reach level 5 immortal pill great master. Then he would be able to concoct snow wing pills. What's the full name of that Yen pill master? Yi Mo suddenly asked. The two people on the side quickly said. He seemed to be called Yen Tantao, but he only concocted pills for a few days and went to level 2. It was him indeed. Yi Mo nodded and saluted with his fists. Everyone, I will be going to level 2. The pill concoction ends now. It was him indeed. Yi Mo nodded and saluted with his fists. Everyone, I will be going to level 2. The pill concoction ends now. Reluctant voices sounded around. Yi Mo's pill concoction quality was top-notch. Despite knowing he would eventually leave, people still felt reluctant. Martial Sister Bingyu, why are you here? Are you here to undergo trial too? A crisp voice sounded, and a pretty woman walked over. There was a man next to her who was abstruse immortal primary stage. That woman was only golden immortal peak stage. Yes, Martial Sister Shangwan should be here for the same too, right? Zhen Bingyu nodded. She didn't show surprise and joy, but the coldness on her face melted a little. Yes, I really didn't expect to be able to see Martial Sister Bingyu here. You're already abstruse immortal now, and I'm still golden immortal peak stage. Sigh, Shangwan said dejectedly. But soon, the dejection was gone, and she said happily, Martial Sister Bingyu, it's so good to see you. We can trial together. By the way, let me introduce you. This is my martial brother, Liao Nancheng. Martial brother. This is Martial Sister Bingyu I often talk about. She's from Gong Hua Heaven's Great Eternity Immortal Sect, Extreme Sword Sect. He is, Shangwan just wanted to ask who Yi Mo was, and saw the sign that Yi Mo hadn't put away yet, and asked, this martial brother is an immortal pill master. She called Yi Mo martial brother, completely due to Zhen Bingyu. Yi Mo's power was lower than hers, and Zhen Bingyu never stayed with male cultivators. Now that she did, there must be something going on. Yes, he's Yi Mo, a solo cultivator, and also a level 3 immortal pill master. Zhen Bingyu nodded. Great, if we trial together we can ask Martial Brother Yi to help with pill concoction. Shangwan clearly didn't have many calculations and said things straightforwardly. I've long heard of Goddess Bingyu's fame. Now that I see you, it's indeed true. Liao Nancheng greeted her. Zhen Bingyu was cold, but she didn't ignore people she greeted back. But Zhen Bingyu didn't introduce Shangwan to Yi Mo. Yi Mo didn't ask. As well, it had nothing to do with him. Martial Sister Bingyu, let's go to level 2 together. I will get to abstruse immortal before coming out, Shangwan repeated. Hearing this, Yi Mo immediately knew she was simple-minded. She will reach abstruse immortal? Didn't that mean she had the level 3 immortal pill abstruse will pill? If she went out alone, just with what she said, there would be many golden immortals waiting for her at level 2. Abstruse will pill was a pill that could allow golden immortal peak stages to reach abstruse immortal. It was one of the most sought after pills by golden immortals. Before Zhen Bingyu could reject, Shangwan came up to Yi Mo and said, "Martial brother Yi, I'm Shangwan. I come from Yu Hung Heaven." Hearing this, Yi Mo was shook. He was very sensitive to Yu Hung Heaven. Yi Mo immediately smiled. "I come from Gong Hua Heaven, but I'm just a solo cultivator. My sect is the Great Extreme Immortal Sect, Cloud River Sect. If you and Martial Sister Bingyu go to Yu Hung Heaven, you must come. I heard that Yu Hung Heaven is very big, and that the Heaven Lord there is a status immortal." "No, who did you hear that from?" "He's still Great Eternity Immortal Peak Stage, but it probably won't be long for Heaven Lord Lu to reach status immortal. He's inviting all the immortals in the heaven domains who are good at fortune telling. It's said he wants to calculate the fortune of Yu Hung Heaven." Hearing this, Yi Mo was shook. Calculate? This guy definitely wanted to find him. Thinking about this, he quickly asked, "What are the results?" "They're just starting now. It's said that this calculation will take decades, or even centuries," Shangwan said. Zhen Bingyu and Liao Nancheng didn't expect Yi Mo and Shangwan would talk so much after meeting for the first time. Zhen Bingyu immediately reacted. Yi Mo had this passion. He seemed to like pretty immortal girls. Didn't he do this at the Extreme Sword Sect? No wonder Feng Chunma was so reluctant to let him go. Just look at the gentle way he spoke to Shangwan. Liao Nancheng frowned and looked displeased. He wanted to talk some more to Zhen Bingyu, but she didn't have the mood to do that, and instead looked at Yi Mo as though waiting for Yi Mo to talk to her. After a long while, she saw they were still talking, so she could only interrupt. "Are we going to level 2 now?" "Yes, of course." Yi Mo came back to his senses, realizing that Zhen Bingyu was getting suspicious. "Okay, Martial Sister Bingyu, let's go together." "I enjoy talking to Martial Brother Yi," Shangwan quickly said. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't object, Zhen Bingyu could only nod, and the four walked towards level 2 together. Yi Mo wasn't going to actually trial with them together, but they could walk together for a while. He still had some questions to ask Shangwan. There was a barrier between level 1 and level 2, and it was very simple. Any golden immortal would be able to tear it open. After going in, Yi Mo didn't feel it was much different than level 1 other than the gravity increasing by quite a bit. Seeing Yi Mo still ask Shangwan all sorts of questions nonstop, Zhen Bingyu was really speechless. She would have already left if she didn't want a trial with Yi Mo. Not just Zhen Bingyu and Liao Nancheng, even Shangwan noticed something wasn't right. Yi Mo seemed to be getting too close to her and clearly finding nonsense questions to ask. For example, which immortal city did Lu Jingchuan live in? How many years has Lu Jingchuan been cultivating? Which were the biggest sects in Yu Hung Heaven? Would these sects listen to the Heaven Lord? At least to Shangwan. It seemed like Yi Mo was finding ways to talk to her. Shangwan didn't object against this. Yi Mo was not only an immortal pill master, but he also seemed very amicable. He didn't seem arrogant due to being an immortal pill master at all, and knew how to respect people. So despite knowing that Yi Mo was sucking up to her, she still enjoyed talking. "Wan, come over." Liao Nancheng couldn't take it anymore, and didn't even call her Martial Sister. "What is it, Martial Brother?" "I'm talking to Martial Brother Yi." Shangwan didn't even look back, and kept introducing all the rules of the number 1 immortal city, Feng, Gang Immortal City, in Yu Hung Heaven, and where the Heaven Lord's estate was in the city. "Martial Brother Yi, do you really like Yu Hung Heavens?" Shangwan laughed. Yi Mo was shook. He knew he was being too desperate. If he kept asking, she might notice that he cared about Lu Jingchuan. Yi Mo quickly smiled. "No, I want to know about every heaven domain. By the way, Where is your Cloud River sect? Is there a big immortal city nearby? Can you tell me about it? Yi Mo quickly asked some other questions. Just when Yi Mo thought he asked enough, Zhun Bingyu couldn't take it anymore and asked, Yi Mo, do you still want to undergo trial? Right, I'm going to other places to trial. Martial Sister Shangwan, we'll meet again, Yi Mo quickly said. Martial Sister Bingyu, aren't we going to undergo trial together? Shangwan looked at Zhun Bingyu in confusion. Zhun Bingyu frowned. Martial Sister Shangwan, I still have some other business with Martial Brother Yi. We can't go with you guys for now. We'll be off first. We'll meet again. Oh, Shangwan looked at Yi Mo reluctantly. She felt she could really get along with Martial Brother Yi, no matter what she said. Martial Brother Yi was a very good listener and asked a few questions sometimes for her to explain. This satisfied her pride greatly. She wanted to undergo trial with Yi Mo, but Martial Sister Bingyu seemed to be getting jealous. But she thought too much. She at most had a good impression towards Martial Brother Yi. Seeing the two leave, Liao Nancheng breathed easy. That pill master Yi was too shameless. He had a goddess like Zhun Bingyu with him, but still tried to chat up his martial sister. Yi Mo sat on the rainbow stamp, with his brows locked tightly. Lu Jingquan was using immortals to calculate where he was. From this, it was certain that this bastard was trying to search for Luo Yu continent. What if he went there? At this moment, Yi Mo felt he was so tiny. He knew where his enemies were, but he didn't have the power to touch them. Seeing Yi Mo frown and not talk, Zhun Bingyu sighed helplessly. Martial Brother Yi, you just got the Chaos Blue Reed and have such a good heritage. I don't feel you should put your mind on such things. Seeing Yi Mo frown and not talk, Zhun Bingyu sighed helplessly. Martial Brother Yi, you just got the Chaos Blue Reed and have such a good heritage. I don't feel you should put your mind on such things. Yi Mo couldn't be bothered explaining, so he said, I like lust, mind your own business. Just take me to the body refinement place. I'm preparing for nirvana. Zhun Bingyu shook her head and couldn't be bothered persuading him. A month later, Yi Mo killed 8 more shadowless vultures before coming to a dark red forest. Where is this place? Yi Mo asked in confusion. There was nothing in his jade slip about the second level of the Chaos Star Realm. Feng Chuanma's brother only went to trial at the first level. This is the Star Realm Fire Forest. The deeper inside, the higher the temperature. At the center of the forest, even immortal spirit body, immortals won't be able to handle it. There are also fire beams in the depth. They can't be seen, and with one mistake you would be heavily injured. If you want to achieve nirvana, this is the best place, Zhun Bingyu said. Yi Mo nodded. It seemed teaming up with Zhun Bingyu had its benefits. At least he was very happy with this place for nirvana. Nirvana came from the ancient Phoenix clan. The ancestor of the Phoenix race had the first nirvana in the flames. Zhun Bingyu continued, if I was to come here alone, I would need a few years. You can't fly in the air at level 2 either, but there's also danger walking on the ground. There's a lethal force called Whirlpool Void. If cultivators accidentally go in, they will be swept to some unknown space and disappear. There's no sign to tell when it will appear. It might just be below you, and you won't even know. Yi Mo sighed. Okay, thanks. Without you leading the way, I wouldn't be able to find this place. Let's go in. Zhun Bingyu slowed down the rainbow stamp and charged into the fire forest. A day later, Zhun Bingyu put the flying immortal artifact away as they landed on the dark red earth. This temperature was intolerable to ordinary immortals. If Zhun Bingyu wasn't king state, an abstruse immortal, she wouldn't be able to bear it too. After walking a while, Zhun Bingyu couldn't take it anymore. She was covered in sweat, and her clothes stuck to her body, outlining her beautiful curves. Seeing Yi Mo look at her, Zhun Bingyu said plainly, no need to look at me, and you don't need to say what you said to Shangwan to me. I won't do those sort of things with you. Yi Mo replied plainly as well. Didn't you say your body was just flesh and bones? You didn't mind before. Since it's so hot here, why don't you take off the clothes on your flesh and bones? This isn't something that can be solved by taking clothes off. Plus, I feel you're right. Even if it's just flesh and bones, one still needs to consider embarrassment. So, don't even think about me taking off clothes in front of you again, Shen Bingyu said coldly. Since when did I say that? Yi Mo dazed. Shen Bingyu sneered and said no more. She was greatly disappointed in Yi Mo's cultivation will. After walking for another half an hour, Shen Bingyu stopped and announced, I'll practice body refinement here. You can go in further. Yi Mo nodded and kept walking deeper. After another 15 minutes, Yi Mo stopped at a space made up of 4 huge gray trees. The trees surrounding this area had fire rays that zoomed past from time to time. When Yi Mo stopped, the scorching heat turned all his clothes and armor to air. Yi Mo knew this was his limit. This would be where he reached nirvana. Invisible scorching flames surrounded Yi Mo. Even all his hair turned to dust now. The fire burned Yi Mo's body, making sizzling sounds. Yi Mo didn't care at all and just ran his body refinement cultivation method, trying to reach nirvana. As Yi Mo used his body refinement cultivation method, more invisible flames swept over. Even the invisible flames here had developed some consciousness after countless years. Yi Mo was having nirvana here, so he needed to gather immortal spirit chi, which in turn caused more fire rays to come. Countless fire rays struck him, and Yi Mo's God-state body refinement defense started to cripple. A blood arrow shot out, but it soon turned to nothing. Yi Mo kept using his body refinement cultivation method, controlling the refinement of his body from his blood to his bones. When Yi Mo felt that his body couldn't take that terrifying laceration, he cut off a rather large branch from the chaos blue reed and immediately fused the entire chaos blue reed into his flesh. The dried-up blood and flesh revitalized with boundless life force. Blood, flesh, and essence blood was born again and refined. Eventually, Yi Mo's essence spirit and flesh fused together again like a new life. His hair started to grow slowly without being destroyed in the flame. At this moment, Yi Mo was completely asleep. His body floated up between the 4 trees. Yi Mo didn't know he would sleep during nirvana, or he would set up a defense formation no matter what. Eventually, Yi Mo didn't even need to consciously use the body refinement cultivation method as it ran itself. An invisible powerful chi started to emanate from Yi Mo's body and slowly cover him. Eventually, it formed a plain mist on Yi Mo's body while more scorching heat rushed over from the fire forest. The mist didn't dissipate no matter what and kept circulating Yi Mo. 1 month, 2 months, half a year, Yi Mo didn't seem to wake up at all while the mist around him was weakening. Shen Bingyu walked a few steps in joy. In half a year, she had reached God state. She was planning to spend about 10 years to reach God state and use a few more decades to bring it to God state peak stage and then reach nirvana here. Yet she reached God state in half a year. The body refinement cultivation method of Yi Mo was too absurd. She was certain that not even the 11 grand heaven domains had such absurd body refinement cultivation methods. Looking at her smoother and silkier skin, Shen Bingyu didn't care. She didn't care if her skin looked good or not. If reaching God state meant her skin would turn dry, she would still choose it. However, she knew that body refinement would only make one's body more and more perfect. Did he succeed with nirvana? Shen Bingyu muttered and took out a set of clothes. She felt she seemed to have been affected by Yi Mo. Even though it was just flesh and bones, it was her privacy. Shen Bingyu's cultivation level was higher than Yi Mo, and she had reached God state body refinement. So she could barely match Yi Mo's God state tertiary stage. She walked for about 15 minutes and saw Yi Mo hanging between 4 trees. There was a faint mist around Yi Mo, an immortal spirit chi circulating around his body. Clearly he hadn't finished nirvana yet. Nirvana causes sleep? Zhen Bingyu asked herself in confusion and walked a few steps closer. As soon as she did, more terrifying flames instantly turned her clothes to ash. Looking at Yi Mo hanging in the air naked and looking at herself, she felt very strange. Chapter 1597. Breakthrough to Immortal Nirvana Body. Chapter 1597. Breakthrough to Immortal Nirvana Body. Yi Mo was not only lustful but also a madman. If he wasn't a madman, he wouldn't cross the heaven domain void alone. If he wasn't a madman, he wouldn't steal the chaos blue reed from those great immortals. Zhen Bingyu thought of this and subconsciously quickly moving away. When she was at a place where she was unaffected, she quickly changed into a set of clothes and continued body refinement on the side, waiting for Yi Mo to wake up. 3 days later, Yi Mo felt a coolness in his sea of consciousness. He suddenly opened his eyes and a powerful and free feeling surged up his mind. It was as though his body and soul fused together, his spirit sense and immortal essence greatly improved. His nirvana was successful. Yi Mo flipped up in surprise and joy. Looking at his perfectly shaped body, Yi Mo felt a deep sense of satisfaction. What surprised him more was that not only did he successfully nirvana, but his spirit sense and immortal essence were greatly increased. He was golden immortal middle stage peak, just 1 step away from golden immortal tertiary stage. So he hadn't reached this level before, because his body wasn't strong enough. Immortal nirvana body was indeed hugely different from God's state. This indescribable feeling made Yi Mo very satisfied. The terrifying temperature here and the dense fire rays were like nothing to him now. This powerful feeling was good indeed. Yi Mo howled, releasing the excitement in his heart. Even if he fought with that abstruse, immortal middle stage again, he could kill him with formations. Yi Mo howled, wanting to find someone to share his joy. Nirvana was as important to him as reaching great immortal. He knew that using the chaos blue reed to achieve nirvana, his body refinement future would be very smooth. By the way, Zhen Bingyu was here. How was she now? At least she could share the joy of his nirvana. Thinking about this, Yi Mo used a few cleansing spells and changed into a new set of clothes and walked out of the 4 trees. But then he turned back and wrote the words, Yi Mo reached nirvana here. He finally shared some of the joy in his heart before leaving slowly. Yi Mo didn't go very far and saw Zhen Bingyu standing not far away. Yi Mo was in a great mood. Even Zhen Bingyu didn't seem as annoying as before. Martial Sister Bingyu, since you can come here, you must have reached God's state right. Congratulations. Yi Mo saluted with his fists and smiled. Zhen Bingyu coldly said, You want to congratulate yourself. If I'm not wrong, you probably successfully went through nirvana. That's right. Thanks for the news of chaos blue reed you provided. Otherwise, even if I reached nirvana, it wouldn't be this perfect, Yi Mo answered. By the way, did you long reach God's state? Yi Mo asked. Zhen Bingyu was indeed happy for Yi Mo in her heart. She had seen Yi Mo's efforts. Although he had a bad hobby, his pursuit for Tao and cultivation was no weaker than hers. Going through the heaven domain void, coming back bloodied for the chaos blue reed. He must have gone through a lot, but she didn't like to show expressions and emotions. Her tone was still cold as she said, Thank you for your body refinement cultivation method. I indeed have long reached God's state. I still want to see. Suddenly she stopped. Yi Mo frowned. He was naked in body refinement cultivation. Plus, she wasn't at God's state before, and spirit sense couldn't expand in the forest, so he didn't worry. Now that she was God's state, she could get to him. Didn't that mean she saw everything? Thinking about this, Yemo was a little uncomfortable. He glanced at her and said, "You looked at me when I was sleeping in Nirvana?" "No," Zhen Bingyu said, and blushed for the first time in her memory. She wasn't embarrassed for seeing Yi Emo naked. It was her first time lying, and she wasn't used to it. "No." Yi Emo sneered. "Did you know your face gets red when you lie? Or do you not know your face is red?" Zhen Bingyu was lost for words. Of course, she knew she blushed, but she didn't understand. She was an abstruse immortal and a God-state body refinement. How come she couldn't control her blushing? "I've already warned you that my body isn't just flesh and bones to me. Our Tao heart is different. If you're still going to be like this, we can only split up," Yemo said. This time, Zhen Bingyu was truly angry. If it wasn't for her great Tao, she would have left already. "There's nothing to see. You saw my flesh and bones too. If you want to see it, I'll show you again." Zhen Bingyu spoke coldly, but added uncomfortably, "No matter how firm your cultivation will is, your Tao heart predestines you won't be able to reach very high." Yemo couldn't be bothered to talk to her anymore. Although Zhen Bingyu really wanted to cultivate till Nirvana before leaving, Yemo was planning to leave, so she could only follow. She knew the benefits of staying with Yemo. So no matter how much Yemo raged, she would follow him. She wouldn't mind, as long as it would speed up her cultivation speed. Yemo needed Zhen Bingyu too. She knew this place much better than him. If he wanted good trial grounds in here, he would need her to lead the way. "Where do you want to go next?" Zhen Bingyu asked, seeing that Yemo ignored her. "Is there a place to cultivate spirit sense?" Yemo knew cultivation state took a long while to improve, and spirit sense was very important to him. So he had to improve that quickly. "You have a spirit sense cultivation method as well." Zhen Bingyu called out in shock. She had long suspected Yemo of this. Yemo shook his head. "No, can one not cultivate spirit sense without it?" Yemo wasn't going to reveal it to Zhen Bingyu. Zhen Bingyu sighed, but was still suspicious. "Not really, but without a spirit sense cultivation method, it's extremely hard to cultivate spirit sense. There are many places here to cultivate spirit sense. The most famous place is the Corner Soul Domain. In the Corner Soul Domain, Yemo suddenly interrupted her. He thought of corner soul weeds. Why did the two sound the same? Yemo looked at Yemo in confusion and nodded. "That's right, Corner Soul Domain. What about it? I'm an immortal pill master, you know. I've seen a jade slip about an immortal spirit herb that can repair soul and spirit sense. It's called Corner Soul Weed. Have you heard about it?" Yemo asked casually. Zhen Bingyu nodded. "Of course I have. In the immortal realm, it's the highest level item for cultivating spirit sense. Clear weed can be used to concoct dual spirit pills. It's a level 6 immortal pill, and the best pill to repair spirit sense for those below status immortal. Dark weed is very hard to get, but it can be concocted into the level 9 immortal pill, Emperor Spirit Pill. Even status immortals have great difficulty getting it. It's extremely precious. I heard that Corner Soul Weed's appearance is related to the Corner Soul Domain, but I don't know if it's true or not because no one knows where there is Corner Soul Weed," Zhen Bingyu continued. Hearing this, Yemo's heart rustled. Other people didn't know, but he did. He had large amounts of Corner Soul Weeds too. Talk about the Corner Sea Domain. Why is it related to Corner Soul Weed? Yemo asked. Talk about the Corner Sea Domain. Why is it related to Corner Soul Weed? Yemo asked. Zhen Bingyu agreed. It's said that in the ancient immortal realm, there was an unparalleled, powerful being, a person called Mu Wushuang. He was solitary and didn't like to start trouble, but he liked the thing between men and women just like you. Yemo sneered. Since he liked that, then he shouldn't have been able to become a powerful being. How did he become one then? Zhen Bingyu didn't seem to realize Yimo's scorn and continued, "It's because of this flaw that he didn't become the pinnacle powerful being, and his end was tragic. Mu Wushuang had 18 concubines, and every one of them was extremely beautiful. He loved them all until one day he was invited by the Heaven Lord of the number 1 heaven domain in the 33 heavens, Qing Wei Heaven's Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor. Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, was the number 1 immortal emperor of the 33 heavens. Although he wasn't necessarily the strongest, Mu Wushuang had to show him face, so he brought his 18 wives with him. Other than Mu Wushuang, he also invited the other 10 heaven lords of the 11 grand heaven domains. They were all immortal emperors. This immortal fruit party was supposed to be very good, but there are some things that even immortal emperors can't control. Just when the party was about to end, something happened. Yimo asked what happened after the part. Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, brought the guests to enjoy the view in his garden, but the problem happened there. Mu Wushuang saw the woman that he couldn't forget the most there. That was the person he loved the most before he reached great immortal. Then that female immortal disappeared, and he had never been able to find her. However, that woman was in Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor's garden, and was his concubine. Mu Wushuang was emotional and just charged at that female immortal and grabbed her, asking why. Zhen Bingyu sighed and shook her head. Yimo knew that Wushuang Immortal Emperor's actions were indeed too agitated. But then Yimo asked himself, if that was him, would he be able to calm down? If he saw Mu Xiaoyan at some immortal emperor's place, would he be able to calm down? Yimo shivered. He knew he wouldn't even if he knew the consequences. Then they fought. Yimo sighed. Zhen Bingyu nodded. They didn't fight on the spot, but Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, was furious. The other few immortal emperors there persuaded him and finally calmed his anger. But Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, needed to compensate him. Originally, if he compensated, this would be over. However, Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, didn't care and was still going to take Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor's concubine. He said he needed to ask her face to face why this would be. Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, was furious and said Wushuang had to leave all his 18 concubines behind, or this wouldn't be over. The end result was that they all fought. Yimo sneered. Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, and the other immortal emperors didn't know that woman was Wushuang, Immortal Emperor's woman before? Since they did. And they still let them accidentally meet each other. I don't think things are so simple. Zhen Bingyu looked coldly at Yimo and said, if you dare to say this in front of someone else, I can promise you won't live for more than 3 years. Yimo knew Zhen Bingyu said this out of goodwill, so he didn't argue. Seeing this, Zhen Bingyu breathed easy and said, because reason was on Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor's side. When the two fought, the other 10 immortal emperors all helped Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor. Yimo was shook. This meant that Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, was just too powerful. Otherwise, even if he was wrong, the other immortal emperors didn't need to gang up on him. That battle was heaven shaking and earth rattling. They fought from Qing Wei Heaven to the Void, then the Void to Middle Heaven domains, and then to Low Heaven domains. Even countless planets in the cosmos were destroyed. If they weren't fighting in the Void, perhaps even heaven domains would be destroyed. Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, hadn't attained the Tao, but his power was indeed unparalleled. More than 10 people attacked him, but he killed 9 immortal emperors and escaped into the Chaos Star Realm, heavily injured. Hearing this, Yimo was shook and immediately asked, you're saying Mu Wushuang is in the Chaos Star Realm? Yes, he had nowhere to go, so he came here, but those immortal emperors chasing him were also heavily injured. They knew Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, was dead for sure, and didn't want to go in and die with him. The Chaos Star Realm at the time was different to now. Those who went in would die for sure, Zhen Bingyu said. Then Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, is certainly dead. Yi Mo asked again. Zhang Bingyu nodded. Probably because a few 100,000 years ago, a few more immortal emperors went in here together and saw the corpse of Wushuang, immortal emperor, at level 2. The Corner Soul Domain is a small world of Wushuang, immortal emperor. It's said there is Wushuang, immortal emperor's heritage in the Corner Soul Domain. Over the years, countless people have gone there in search of Wushuang, immortal emperor's heritage, but no one has ever been able to find it. Then how did the Corner Soul weed appear? At the beginning, people found Corner Soul weeds at the Corner Soul Domain, but as more and more people went, there were less that could be found. Eventually, people couldn't find any. It was too easy to die in the Corner Soul Domain, so few people went. Tens of thousands of years later, people from the cultivation realm brought Corner Soul weeds here. It's really easy to die in the Corner Soul Domain. Yes, at the beginning, there was less than a 50% chance of dying, and when the Corner Soul weed was found, the chances were even greater. Later on, the chances decreased, but people could only refine their spirit since there so few people went. Does Wushuang, immortal emperor, have something very important? Wushuang, immortal emperor, had multiple small worlds, and it's said he also had a true spirit world. When he went into the Chaos Star realm, his true spirit world disappeared. How could Wushuang, immortal emperor, fight so many immortal emperors at the same time? It's because he has the best spirit sense cultivation method. An immortal emperor who had the same cultivation level as him wouldn't be able to survive at all due to his spirit sense cultivation method. So that's it. Yi Mo nodded. He realized why he would be ambushed. A true spirit world wasn't as good as a chaos world, but it was countless times better than a small world. The truth spirit world could allow up to truth realization state cultivators to stay in. That Wei Feng, immortal emperor, was definitely a sinister person. Is Wei Feng, immortal emperor, still alive? Yi Mo disliked this Wei Feng, immortal emperor. This guy was a harm to the world. Qin Binyu looked speechlessly at Yi Mo. The most authoritative figure in the 33 heavens is Wei Feng, immortal emperor. You tell me if he's alive. 100,000 years ago, he personally went to the Corner Soul Domain to check, and learned that Wushuang, immortal emperor, was indeed dead. The 18 imprisoned concubines all disappeared too. Some say they committed suicide, while some say they ran away. Then what about the woman who started the troubles? How would I know? Qin Bingyu rolled her eyes and continued. When you were at the Far Star Castle, did you see a few thousand Jifeng Heaven Domains immortals? I did. What's wrong? Yi Mo nodded. They're going to Corner Soul Domain to trial. I heard the conversation between two of them at level 1. They want to go find Wushuang, immortal emperor's heritage there. Zhang Bingyu said. Yi Mo asked in confusion. Didn't you say that in these few 100,000 years, no one has been able to find it? Zhang Bingyu frowned. I thought so too, but for some reason Jifeng Heaven is doing this. I was planning to go C2, but I met you and body refined until now. If you go in the Corner Soul Domain, your spirit sense will be limited. So, immortals will try to extend their spirit sense. If they really did, then it meant your spirit sense was improving. Yi Mo said without hesitation. Let's go there now. Ever since the death rate of the Corner Soul Domain dropped, a little less than half the immortals at level 2 went there. Ever since the death rate of the Corner Soul Domain dropped, a little less than half the immortals at level 2 went there. Although spirit sense cultivation methods were very rare, every cultivator knew about the importance of spirit sense. 10 days later, Zhang Bingyu's rainbow stamp landed outside some rubble. This is the Corner Soul Domain. Yi Mo looked at this endless ruin and asked. At this place, he thought of the Heartless Sea's lost soul ruins. This place gave him a very eerie feeling. It didn't seem like a place for refining spirit sense. Yi Mo didn't expect that there had been a city here, but it was destroyed. Yes, this is Corner Soul Domain. Some people say it's Wushuang, Immortal Emperor's small world, and some say it's his true spirit world, but a long time ago, people indeed found some good things here. There were high-level immortal spirit herbs and top-grade cultivation methods, but more importantly, this was the best place to refine spirit sense, Zhen Bingyu explained. There were some immortals here who hadn't gone in. Seeing Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu come down from the sky, they were all amazed. The shadowless vulture at level 2 was so much more powerful than at level 1. Although many people were curious, none came up to ask. Yi Mo looked like he was golden immortal primary stage, but his ferocious chi was denser than ordinary abstruse immortals. Zhen Bingyu was extremely beautiful. Even immortals would take a few extra glances. Yi Mo didn't know what others thought. He just went through nirvana and couldn't hide his ferocious chi. Friend, are you not afraid of the shadowless vulture? An extremely bulky-looking golden immortal peak stage walked up to Yi Mo and saluted with his fists. Yi Mo didn't mind and answered, "My flying magic artifact can sense the shadowless vulture, so with preparation you can kill shadowless vulture as soon as they attack." "So that means you've killed quite a lot of shadowless vultures?" the golden immortal peak stage asked desperately. Yi Mo nodded. "Not much, just 8. Friend, I have many immortal spirit herbs and forgery materials. Can I exchange some for some shadowless vulture cores and mane feathers?" Then the golden immortal peak stage showed a few immortal spirit herbs and pulled out a pile of materials. Seeing these materials, Yi Mo was immediately interested. He couldn't forge a middle-grade immortal artifact yet, but there were some level 4 immortal-grade materials here. "How much do you want to trade?" Yi Mo asked. "How about 5 pairs? No, just 4 pairs of mane feathers and 4 beast cores," the golden immortal peak stage asked desperately. Yi Mo thought for a moment. The value of these things were far higher than shadowless vulture mane feathers, but it was hard to hunt shadowless vultures, and the value wasn't easy to evaluate. 3 pairs plus 3 beast cores, Yi Mo said. "Deal." The golden immortal peak stage gave his things all to Yi Mo. Seeing this, people all came over wanting to trade with Yi Mo. Seeing Yi Mo was willing to take forgery materials, people all used forgery materials to trade. After all, immortal spirit herbs were far more useful for cultivation. In a short while, all of the leftover shadowless vulture mane feathers were traded away. As for the shadowless vultures he hunted at level 2, Yi Mo didn't plan to trade them for the moment. The longer Zhen Bingyu stayed with Yi Mo, the more she felt she didn't understand him. She knew Yi Mo might be an immortal pill great master and was a level 2 immortal formation master. He was at least golden immortal middle stage and was an immortal nirvana body refinement cultivator. Now she began to suspect Yi Mo of being an immortal forgery master, an immortal forgery great master. But she didn't ask this, as she knew Yi Mo wouldn't say anything. After the exchange, even some abstruse immortal looked at Yi Mo with respectful glances. Yi Mo used genuine shadowless vulture materials to trade. This meant that he could hunt shadowless vultures whenever he wanted. How could someone like that be simple? Yi Mo walked to the bulky golden immortal peak stage and saluted with his fists. "Friend, may I ask if you're going to Corner Soul Domain for trial?" Of course. The golden immortal peak stage was happy with Yi Mo and said, "I come from Ji Feng, Heaven's great extreme immortal sect, Golden Light Sect. This is a trial and tournament for all the sects in Ji Feng Heaven." "How does it work?" Yi Mo asked. "People can't extend spirit sense out in the Corner Soul Domain, but immortal essence remains unaffected. Whoever can find the most corner soul mushrooms is the winner," the golden immortal peak stage answered. "Corner soul mushroom?" Yi Mo frowned and looked Zhen Bingyu. Zhen Bingyu shook her head. The golden immortal peak stage smiled. "It's nothing strange that you guys don't know. Corner soul mushroom haven't appeared in the Corner Soul Domain for long, at most a few years. It's because they appeared that we're having this tournament. What's the use of the corner soul mushrooms? Yemo asked. They can be used to concoct spirit sense recovery pills, level 2 immortal pills. It has little use for great immortals, but are rather good for abstruse, immortal, and below. It can also be directly consumed, and one can even learn the use of spirit sense from it, the golden immortal answered. Yemo asked, Then have you found them? The cultivator shook his head. It's very hard to find them. I haven't even seen one yet. Then he passed a picture to Yemo. Look, this is corner soul mushroom. Yemo looked at the dull gray mushroom and saluted with his fists. Thank you, friend. We're going inside to refine spirit sense. Farewell. Then Yemo followed Jun Bingyu into the ruins. As soon as they came in, he felt his spirit sense was suppressed to a meter, but he wasn't worried. With the experience in the extreme star canopy, he would use his 3-birth chant and see if it could recover. Even if he couldn't, he wasn't scared now that he was an immortal nirvana body cultivator. But the only thing he worried about was that when he came in here, the eerie feeling grew more intense. Shun Bingyu went with Yemo for a while before saying, Martial Brother Yi, my master had come in here a few times, and our sect leader has too, but they've never heard about some corner soul mushroom. I feel this is very strange. If they could repair spirit sense, then it would be very precious, no matter what level they are. How can there be no news of them? Yemo nodded. This is strange indeed, but we haven't found one yet, so we don't know what's strange about it. We'll know after we find one. 3 days later, Yemo and Jun Bingyu came to the depths of the corner soul domain. In a broken-down house, Yemo set up a stealth restriction and said to Jun Bingyu, I'm going to see if I can recover my spirit sense. Jun Bingyu nodded and just sat on the side, waiting for Yemo. After a day of trying, Yemo found his spirit sense extended over 2 meters, but it was harder to go any further. Yemo took out a clear weed and started using it while trying to extend his spirit sense. What shook Yemo was when he used corner soul weed, his spirit sense extended rapidly. After one was used up, his spirit sense could extend to a distance over 100 kilometers away. A day later, Yemo's spirit sense had completely recovered. He realized that this place could refine spirit sense for other cultivators, but not him. If his spirit sense could recover anywhere, then no place would be good for him. Just when Yemo wanted to leave, his spirit sense scanned that Jun Bingyu was fighting with a fatty. Jun Bingyu wasn't inside the house anymore, but clearly she was no match for that fatty. If that fatty wasn't toying with her, she would have been killed already. Just when Yemo wanted to leave, his spirit sense scanned that Jun Bingyu was fighting with a fatty. Jun Bingyu wasn't inside the house anymore, but clearly she was no match for that fatty. If that fatty wasn't toying with her, she would have been killed already. Yemo sneered and put away the formation flag. Jun Bingyu was struck by the fatty and spat blood in the air before flying back towards Yemo. So you have an entry gong. No wonder you didn't want to leave here. The fat man saw Yemo come back. Yemo caught Jun Bingyu and gave her a pill. Rest for a while. I know this fat man. You're no match for him. Jun Bingyu knew Yemo's power and nodded while retreating. What Yemo didn't expect was that when the fat man heard his words, there was shocking fury in his eyes. He said coldly, So it's you too? Yemo frowned and didn't talk, but the fat man asked, Did you steal the Chaos Blue Reed? This shocked Yemo. Did one have remnant chi of the Chaos Blue Reed after using it for body refinement? He didn't feel it at all. Jun Bingyu was shook. She didn't expect. Yemo stole the Chaos Blue Reed from this fat man. Yemo had such guts. This fat man was at least a golden immortal and had part of his spirit sense left. Jun Bingyu quickly said, This person has spirit sense equivalent to a hollow immortal. Yemo knew this fat man was called Han Wei-Chen, a great unity immortal. If this wasn't the corner soul domain, he would run as far away as he can. No matter how absurd a golden immortal middle stage was, there was no way he would be a match for a great unity immortal. What he was confused about was how this fat man knew he stole the Chaos Blue Reed. Then, Yi Mo realized he shouldn't have said he knew this fat man. The fat man never saw him before, so he immediately thought of the extreme star canopy. "Tell me, is it you?" the fat man yelled, clearly not very sure, but his tone was shaky. He hoped it was Yi Mo who stole it. If it was, then he wouldn't need to split it with the rest of the three. He would get it and run away as far as possible and go into solitary cultivation. "You really talk too much." Yi Mo hacked over. Han Weichen stopped talking. His killing intent exploded. The volatile immortal essence shook the space around him. He used all his power as a great unity immortal against Yi Mo. Even though he could only control his spirit sense to about hollow immortal through his secret technique, it wasn't something Yi Mo could stop. There was seriousness in Yi Mo's eyes. He used illusion cloud formation kill strike immediately. This was his cultivation realm sword ability, but as his power increased, it was far from what it was before. Yi Mo hacked out the endless sword rays while Han Weichen's red tower smashed down too. Yi Mo breathed easy, however. If Han Weichen didn't use magic and just fought with him head-on, he would have to dodge, but magic was limited by spirit sense. He was an immortal nirvana body, so he could take a blow from hollow immortal spirit sense despite his powerful immortal essence. So Yi Mo ignored the tower and instead used illusion cloud domain kill strike next. He also released tens of dark lightning bolts and shadowless. Han Weichen's red tower grew bigger and bigger, but it didn't land. The faint red rays had shone upon Yi Mo already. A tearing pain came, and Yi Mo was shocked. He didn't expect his immortal nirvana body would be damaged by such red light. But Yi Mo didn't have time to change his tactics anymore. He could only use more immortal essence and spirit sense on activating Zisu. Immortal nirvana body? "It's you indeed, Dai." Han Weichen knew he guessed right, seeing Yi Mo was a body refinement cultivator. But the next moment, when tens of lightning bolts landed on him, he called out in shock, "Your spirit sense isn't reduced at all. How did you do it?" Yi Mo wasn't going to reply. Black lightning sword followed wave after wave. He also cut out tens of spirit sense blades. The red tower smashed towards Yi Mo like a meteor, while Yi Mo's spirit sense had cut the border of this fatty's sea of consciousness. Immediately, Han Weichen's spirit sense withered, and his sea of consciousness was heavily injured. At the same time, he spat a mouthful of blood. The red tower that lost control smashed onto Yi Mo's body, making him spit a mouthful of blood, but it also fell on the ground, losing its vibrance. Spirit sense cultivation method. Han Weichen called out in shock. At the same time, he smashed his fist at Yi Mo. He couldn't use any more magic artifacts, as his sea of consciousness was damaged. Yi Mo's Zisu also hacked towards Han Weichen, spraying out mists of blood. Even though a great unity immortal only used his fist, the force was dominating. The fist locked the nearby space immediately. Even if Yi Mo wanted to run, he would be able to break away from the immortal essence fist wind. Yi Mo was shocked. He didn't expect the immortal essence binding of a great unity immortal punch to be the same as a powerful domain. There was no choice but to take it head on. In his shock, Yi Mo could only run his immortal essence like crazy while trying to use Zisu to block it. At the same time, he urged Shadowless to attack. The difference in cultivation level was too huge. Even though Yi Mo had spirit sense, he couldn't take the upper hand in the battle. If it was in the extreme star canopy, he might be able to win, as Han Weichen's immortal essence would be bound too. Seeing the big fist smash over, Yi Mo wanted to use Zisu to block it, but he was missing just that one bit. Just when Yi Mo was extremely desperate, Han Weichen's fist slowed down. Yi Mo was overjoyed Shadowless must have succeeded. He wasn't going to waste this opportunity. Zisu came before the fist and hacked down Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike. Such a cunning bastard. There was madness in Han Weichen's eyes as he punched, disregarding Zisu. Splurge Zisu hacked in the middle of the fist, splitting it in half, but it didn't slow down at all, and punched Yemo. Yemo spat many mouthfuls of blood. He felt he was sucked up by the fist, and the crazy immortal essence on the fist kept passing over. A sliver of despair flashed in Yemo's eyes. He didn't expect a great immortal without spirit sense to still be this powerful. Even though he had Shadowless to help, he was still no match. If he didn't have an immortal nirvana body, he might be dead now. The endless immortal essence charged into Yemo's body. Yemo couldn't run away, but he knew when Shadowless was forced out of Han Weichen's body, that would be when he would be killed. Crack, there was a light sound, but Yemo knew his meridians cracked. But what made Yemo rejoice was that the ravaging immortal essence suddenly disappeared. Yemo fell down, and before he went unconscious, he saw Han Weichen's head fly out while Shadowless chased up to Han Weichen's essence spirit and devoured it. Shun Bingyu held a black sword and grabbed Han Weichen's storage ring. Yemo breathed easy before he fell unconscious. He knew Jin Bingyu wasn't a dark-hearted person. When Yemo woke up, he smelled a faint aroma, and there was a soft sensation. Immediately, he realized he was laying on Jin Bingyu's back. Yemo knew that Jin Bingyu didn't kill him and take his things. But then he saw there wasn't just her, there were a few hundred people here. When Yemo woke up, he smelled a faint aroma, and there was a soft sensation. Immediately, he realized he was laying on Jin Bingyu's back. Yemo knew that Jin Bingyu didn't kill him and take his things. But then he saw there wasn't just her, there were a few hundred people here. What was going on? Yemo frowned, but soon felt a tearing pain all over his body. He quickly took out a few pills and ate them. As soon as Yemo woke up, Jin Bingyu noticed. She said without turning around, "A lot of corner soul mushroom has been found. Some people found a hidden entrance below it. I'm heavily injured. Why did you take me here?" Yemo asked in confusion. Jin Bingyu fell silent and said, "Because they said this is the heritage ground of Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, so they all came. I didn't want to miss this opportunity, so I came over." Yemo knew she didn't save him because she had a good impression of him, but since they were still in cooperation, Yemo said no more and threw Shadowless from his clothes into the Golden Page world. Then he used some time quickly to recover on Jin Bingyu's back. He was really afraid this martial sister Bingyu would leave him here. Luckily, she said nothing and didn't leave him behind. 5 minutes later, Yemo recovered some of his power. His immortal nirvana body helped him. Even his broken meridians repaired quickly. "Goddess Bingyu, if there is Wushuang Immortal Emperor heritage, why don't we work together?" An abstruse immortal middle stage quickly came to Jin Bingyu and asked softly. Jin Bingyu said plainly, "I'm already working with someone else, martial brother. Go find someone else." The abstruse immortal middle stage looked at Yemo and said, "This friend is your martial brother? Or did he come in with you?" Jin Bingyu frowned and said coldly, "No, we cooperated after we came in." The abstruse immortal middle stage suddenly said no more, but sound transmission to Jin Bingyu. "If that's the case, then I suggest you put him down first. Otherwise, if Wushuang Immortal Emperor's heritage appears, you wouldn't even be able to stay alive, much less try to take it. If we work together, we can split evenly, plus I'm abstruse immortal middle stage." It was a pity spirit sense was suppressed here, so Yemo heard it clearly. Jin Bingyu looked coldly at the abstruse immortal middle stage and walked forward rapidly. "Luo Wufa, you don't want to cooperate with Bingyu Goddess, right? I think you want to dual cultivate with her," another abstruse immortal middle stage said. Luo Wufa scanned the man and said plainly, "Even if it's dual cultivation, It's not like she's losing out. Would I mistreat an abstruse, immortal primary stage goddess? The thing is she would rather carry an golden immortal insect than dual cultivate with you. What can you do? The man asked. Luo Wufa said calmly, she will want to. 6 minutes later, the people ahead stopped, and so did Junbingyu. There seems to be a defense restriction ahead, someone said. Attack together. After a few 100,000 years, this defense formation won't be tough, someone said. Clearly, everyone agreed, and moments later all sorts of magic artifacts smashed onto the defense restriction. Although spirit sense was suppressed, the restriction quickly broke with this many immortals attacking it. An ancient black jade door was revealed. After going inside, there was a huge round-shaped stadium. The ground was covered in blue warm jade, and the surroundings were silky smooth. Why is there nothing? Someone asked disappointedly. There really was nothing here. These ward jades were eternal wealth for ordinary mortals, but they were worth nothing to the immortals here. In their disappointment, many started attacking the walls, but only rocks fell, nothing else. Many people sat down in disappointment, but no one left. They all had a sliver of hope for this stadium. Some formation experts started calculating if there were stealth formations here. Shunbingyu, and sat to the side with Yemo. Thank you, Yemo said. This time he was truly grateful to Junbingyu. This made him feel it was useful to work with someone in the Chaos Star realm. If he was by himself, he might have been killed by Han Weichen already. Shunbingyu said plainly, no need. You only need to not treat me as a useless person. Then she took out a gray mushroom and passed it to Yemo. This is a corner soul mushroom. Many people found them, and I collected a few too. Yemo took it and looked at it, but suddenly his face changed greatly. He put the mushroom away and didn't give it back to her. Instead he asked, how many did you get? 3, Junbingyu said coldly. Give them all to me, Yemo said without hesitation. Junbingyu frowned. Corner soul mushrooms were level 2 immortal spirit herbs, but they could repair spirit sense. This was sometimes more valuable than level 4 immortal spirit herbs and even ordinary level 5 immortal spirit herbs. She kept 2 for herself and 1 for Yemo from how Yemo divided loot. But Junbingyu didn't reject and gave the remaining 2 to Yemo. They're all here. Take them. Then Yemo heard a scorning voice. Parasite, you're living on a woman. Shameful thing. The voice was loud, and everyone in the stadium heard it. Even those few formation masters looked at Yemo. Yemo was only golden immortal primary stage. If it wasn't for that extremely beautiful, abstruse immortal goddess, he wouldn't even be able to come in, and yet he was so demanding to her. Yet Junbingyu still obediently listened to Yemo, making everyone feel her following Yemo was such a waste. Junbingyu heard it too, but she didn't care at all. Yemo smiled and said weakly, Qianbei, this corner soul mushroom can indeed repair spirit sense. I feel it's very good, so I kept it. Seeing this, more people were contemptuous. Immortals always respected the strong. People had no sympathy for the weak. Luo Wufa saw this and laughed. He walked up to Yemo and said, I want your 3 corner soul mushrooms. I'll give you 10 immortal crystals. Give them to me. Then he added, oh, by the way, I only have low-grade immortal crystals. Nothing else. Yemo laughed. Since Qianbei wants it, then take it. I don't dare to ask for immortal crystals. Then Yemo gave the 3 corner soul mushroom to this abstruse immortal middle stage without hesitation. Haha, Luo Wufa laughed. Not just him, but all the cultivators in the stadium laughed as well. They looked down on Yemo's cowardice. He dared to come here and try to get Wushuang Immortal Emperor's heritage with such guts? Junbingyu frowned, but didn't say anything. She knew Yemo very well. He wasn't someone to lose out. He even dared to rob a great Unity Immortal and kill him, much less this abstruse immortal middle stage. Yemo patted his clothes and got up. Marshal Sister Binyu, I've recovered. Let's go. There are too many Qianbais here. Even if Wushuang Immortal Emperor's heritage comes, there's not a share for us. Even Zhen Binyu couldn't take it this time, and said coldly, this chance is 1 in a million years. If you want to go out, you go out. I'll stay here. Plus, I thought you didn't fear anything? You don't dare to talk to a mere abstruse, immortal middle stage? Zhen Binyu was still unhappy the mushrooms were taken. I don't fuss with dead people. Just when Yemo said this, he heard a joyful voice. This stadium is indeed a formation. There are 8 formation doors. Yi Mo and Zhen Binyu looked up, and 8 hidden formation doors appeared on the stone pillars. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.